Bible's the truth, and I'ma put my soul on. Sign, stamp, and seal.
It's going to hit on it hard so that we may have understanding. Because this is what Paul was talking about every time he did.
Wait, Matthew chapter 5?
No, we're going to go first to Isaiah chapter 9.
Book of Isaiah. Chapter 9. Book of Isaiah, chapter 9. We're going to start at verse 6. How we looking? Everybody there? All right, let's get it. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son, S-O-N, is given. And the government shall be upon his shoulder.
We're talking about a government. You're talking about an establishment. When you look at this from the perspective of, you look at the United States government. But this is a government that's going to supersede all the governments in the world. All the governments have to come up under this.
Yes, sir.
This is much greater than the UN. Ain't no negotiation with this one. This is a righteous dictatorship that the whole world, either you get down or you lay down.
Straight up.
Go ahead now.
And the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
The Prince of Peace, capital Prince of Peace. See, this is what we have to understand. Why it puts him in the Godhead that it explains. He's there in Genesis 1, John 1. In the Galatians, the Godhead, Ephesians, the Godhead. He's there. It's putting him there. But then it lets you know that he still has a power that he has to answer to because he's called the Prince of Peace. So it's letting you know he's getting his instructions. There's a king over him, which is his father. In this Godhead, but it's telling you he has everything that he does because he's in the image of his father. Is not counted robbery for him to have the title that he has and to be called into judgment everybody. Because he did the walk. If Solomon had it did it, if David had it did it, if Adam had it did it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But they did. So he's worthy of this. So we ask the non-messianics, is this talking about Isaiah's son? And to call Isaiah's son will be called God, and you just was in Matthew talking about where did that prophet ever say a man could be called God?
This name in as far as the book. And then if you trip off of it, this is the Old Testament prophecy about, we profess this is talking about Jesus Christ in the Bible.
That's right.
You know, for the Hebrew brothers, Yahushua. Some see the Shia, Yahushua. We profess that's talking about him. If you were to say it's not talking about him, the burden of proof is on you to prove what son is born or was born that's called the mighty God.
You're going to have to show.
And whose kingdom going to be forever. Right. Notice he has to be born, so when you're dealing with somebody that know he is Israel but don't believe in the Messiah, this is one of the spots you take him to.
That's right.
Because either you're going to say this is Isaiah's son who was born in chapter 8, right? Or you're going to have to come up and show who this is talking about.
Won't have to do it.
Right? So some people say, well, it's a future prophecy. So then you respond and ask, oh, so you're saying we're still waiting on God to be born. Right. Because even the brothers that don't believe that the Messiah, Yahushua is the Messiah, they say, we are waiting on the Messiah. Right? But according to the very Old Testament, he must be born first. He must be born first. He has to be born. Then where he going to be born at is Bethlehem.
Right.
So, I mean, anybody else born outside Bethlehem, you claiming the Messiah.
Right.
And Isaiah's son don't even come out of line with you.
So it's a lot of things they're going to have to answer if you're saying this is not Jesus the Christ.
Right.
You got to produce somebody.
Right.
Because Isaiah's talking about somebody. Is he talking about his boy?
Right.
Or is he talking about who we profess Christ? Okay, no, it ain't Christ. Well, then who is it? Oh, the future prophet. Oh, so we still waiting for him to be born then.
It's a kind
Yeah.
Name in the hat, then about it. Everybody put a name in there. And whatever we pull out, that's going to be the Messiah.
Yeah.
You think you can play that game?
Yeah.
This is DVD I got. We were speaking on it the other day. It's called Ancient Prophecies. It's called Ancient Prophecies, right? Now, it's a Caucasian on there, and he's talking about Jesus of Nazareth. And he says there are over 330 prophecies in the Old Testament about the Messiah.
How many men?
Over 330 in the Old Testament about a Messiah that came true in the person of Jesus of Nazareth. He said the probability of that happening to anybody else is 1 in 10 to the 157th power.
Oh.
Sound like a lot, don't it? He said, okay, so if you don't know what that means, draw 1 on your piece of paper and put 157 zeros behind it. That's the odds that it applies to somebody else other than Christ. I won't be able to do it. In other words, it don't apply to nobody else but him.
So quit spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
You finished that?
I'm in verse 7 now.
Okay. More on that.
Yeah, 7 to 8.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. I said 9, verse 7. I'm going to read 6 again. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end.
There should be what?
No end.
When you try to say this Solomon, we know what happened to him. He came to an end.
Yeah, right.
It's recorded. Kingdom split, divided up. We know that nobody else came and filled that in because we know of Jehoiakim. What's that?
Jehoiakim.
Y'all know who we're talking about that burned the holy scrolls.
Jehoiakim, yeah.
Shalom, bro. So y'all, we know who it can't be.
Yeah.
But when the odds are all of them face or all of them fulfill everyone to the letter, Christ is sure. If it wasn't, they would point it out. Look, if it ain't him, you at least got to say who it is. If you wait on him to be born, you still got to answer then when.
Yep. And you got to be born in Bethlehem.
You got to be born in Bethlehem.
The Israelites ain't even in our land. So we waiting to get back home for the Messiah to be born? And who going to redeem us?
Right.
How do we get home?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
You at least 33 years out for him to match up with the scripture.
If he was born today, you're 33 years out.
Right.
Then they got to gamble over his garments. He got to be crucified. He got to be resurrected. He got to ascend on high. And then we still got another 2,000 years
to go.
If he was born tonight, we got over 2,033 years.
So start
till we redeem.
Eat your Wheaties. Because you got a long way to go. If you believe it from that perspective. Psalm 110, we finished. You got numbers. Okay. All right.
Verse 7. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sends a word into Jacob, and it have lightened upon Israel.
That's right.
See, it lighted upon Israel. It matches up with Psalm 147, 19, and what is it?
Verse 20.
Verse 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob. It's the light of Israel. It's the same thing Paul said. Ain't nobody broke ranks since the beginning. So y'all, we want to make it clear that the prophet that Moses spoke of fit nobody else. Let's get right to Psalm 110 and back out over to Hebrews 7. We just going to get the understanding of when the order or the priesthood of Melchizedek is prophesied to come in. And then we can get to the laws of that priesthood. Just like the law of Moses and Aaron given to them by the Father, which is the Father's law. But we got how to instruct. We were instructed from a belief system first that was shown to us visually. And then we had to get it fleshy. But then that was to just train your flesh out of different lusts. But y'all, it didn't last long because we kept wanting to do the things in the flesh.
Yeah, right.
So once again,
Still do.
fall off. So the inward man has to come and clean this matter up, which is our Messiah, the King of Kings.
That's right.
The mighty Redeemer,
Holy One of Israel.
Yahweh HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. So y'all, we want to get that clear that that's what we represent down here. No man on earth that's born in the place he ain't supposed to be.
Sandersville, Georgia.
Whoever it may be.
Well, any place outside of Bethlehem, you're off the list.
Right. Immediately. Ain't no need in talking about what color my eyes is and how big my feet are.
How fine I am. We saying how fine.
You see what
How fine. Brass.
And if you know what he was into when the Muslims threw him out, it probably was somebody in the audience of male persuasion, probably how the show is. Let's get it. Psalm 110.
Psalm. 90th chapter. Psalm of David. Now we looking everybody there?
Yep.
Psalm 110. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Now this seems to be the hardest riddle. This is like Rubik's Cube with the wrong colors in
To
it.
me.
Right up.
I mean, and the only reason because they're just kicking against the pricks. It's right there.
Psalm of David. But they're trying to say, well, that's David, but who's David talking about?
Right.
So the only place we see in the Bible is in 1 Samuel that David called anybody Lord. He called Saul,
Saul.
my Lord. So was this what he was talking about?
Saul, who went and saw the witch of Endor.
Right.
Huh? No, this one would throw a javelin at David as soon as he seen him. That's just like taking a pot shot at somebody. David be sitting there, man, and a javelin just whizzed by his ears and stick in the wall.
Right.
This Saul came. That's the heir to the throne for my wickedness.
Right.
Let's move on. What does it say?
Verse 2. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion.
Out of where?
Zion.
So right here, it's again, Bethlehem is in Zion. Not Miami, not Florida, not Guyana,
Not Oklahoma.
not Oklahoma, not Texas. Go ahead, man.
Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies.
See, when you rule in the midst of your enemies, you're surrounded. This word, and this is why the Most High tell us to fear not. Don't worry about all of them enemies around you. You're ruling with enemies surrounded you as long as you keep this light like you're supposed to. Don't get your candle extinguished. And you rule around your enemies because they going to be the ones coming to you. They ain't going to their leaders on it for hard questions.
No, not at all.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3. Your people, thy people, shall be willing in the day of your power, in the beauties of holiness, from the womb of the morning.
See that, from the womb of the morning? This goes back, y'all. It said from the beginning. This is where it's telling you these laws, what we're going to talk about, this priesthood. It didn't start in Mount Sinai.
Right.
It started in the heavens. Go ahead, bro.
Come on. Thou hast the dew of thy youth.
See, the dew of thy youth. And it's talking about who this person is going to be. Go ahead, bro.
The Lord is sworn and will not repent.
Ain't going to turn back from this. See, no matter what somebody say about the law is done away with, this is right here staring you in your face.
Right.
or the Lord is a hypocrite, and we know better than that.
You know better, exactly.
Go ahead.
Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek.
So this is whoever this Lord is going to be that David said, the Lord said to my Lord, this will be who that person is.
Right.
Whoever you may say it is, but when you guessing or you ain't got nobody to fill them shoes,
Exactly.
but you trying to get us off our square.
Right.
That sounds like envy, don't it?
Take it in the house.
Yeah,
Verse 5.
absolutely.
Verse 5. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath.
Right.
He shall judge among the heathen.
Uh-oh.
He shall fill the places with the dead body.
This is why it won't be taught in church.
Right.
Or any doctrines that majority of them teach on Sunday. Not saying we don't want to get the misunderstanding that if the word is taught on Sunday, it ain't the word of the Most High. Right. We're talking about what doctrines are taught. That when it comes down to dead bodies and killing, and you talking about our God, no! That's another order. That sounds like the same one.
My Jesus.
That sounds like the same. You're still talking about that Moses stuff. That Moses. No, this is a different order. So that's why they don't teach judgment.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way. Therefore shall he lift up the head.
If it ain't Christ, who is this going to be given this type of power going to be given to? You want to say David? No. It ain't going to work for David either.
David, who's David talking about?
Because is he talking about himself? In the third person? What we call that today?
Praise
A candidate for Delmore U. And y'all know what down now. What you got, bro?
No, it said even just to add on to that, it even makes their job even harder because, you know, in verse 1 when it says, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit at my right hand. And then it go down to verse 4, verse 5 tell you that that same Lord at the right hand is going to be doing all this.
Right.
They would have to go from Genesis to Malachi showing who sits at the right hand of the Most High that's going to do all this.
Right.
And then it says shall. That's future.
Future.
He shall.
Judge too. So
Right.
whoever this is going to be doing the judgment, he shall
Right.
judge among the heathen.
Right.
Y'all, we're going to get right into Hebrews chapter 7. Y'all, we ain't going to tarry long. I want everybody to get on your study game later and just complete the study of all of these because it's a lot of scripture to understand this when we get right into Matthew 5. We just set up the priesthood order that the Most High would never repent from, that is set in stone. Everybody taught this order. Even Moses taught Melchizedek.
Yep.
Surely did.
He understood that he was the school teacher to be retaught Israel been in a land like how we gonna have to be retaught coming out of here. Y'all, the Most High put us here so that we would repent daily. You have to get practicing how to look to the Lord as your shadow, as your strength. And that means calling out to him every day. There's something that's going to be in this wicked kingdom that's going to make you call out to him every day.
Every day.
But that practice just makes perfect because if you're so blessed and he say enter into the kingdom, when you see him, you're going to say, holy is he. All that repenting that you're doing, it wasn't for naught. So y'all, we're going to get into that and understand that. Hebrews, hit chapter 6, the last verse of that, and then we get right into 7 and 1 of Hebrews. 6 and 20. 6 and 19 and verse 20. Then we get right into Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1. Y'all, we have to understand this, y'all. If you don't know who priesthood you're under, you're going to be under somebody's priesthood. Baal priesthood, the priest of the Egyptologists, the pastor priesthood.
Everybody got a priesthood, man. Everybody. Which one you under?
Right. Is it the pastor priesthood? Who do you say first when you in a discussion about these scripts? Who's the master of these scripts? Pastor say.
Reverend Bobo.
Pastor say. I ain't seen nothing here. The order, he shall not repent from the order of pastor. Go ahead, brother.
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 20.
Start at verse 19, brother.
Verse 19. Which hope we have as an anchor of the soul.
Of what is it of the soul?
Which hope we have as an anchor of the soul.
When we going back to talk about when you have an anchor of your soul, y'all have to understand that these rough seas and high seas, when you see that ocean throwing an ocean liner around like it's a toy in a bathtub, but when you throw that anchor out and it don't move, the Most High say if you apply this law in your heart like you're supposed to, you have an anchor to your soul. It can't be moved. It won't be moving. That's how all that evil around you, you steal the light around all that darkness. And you can just stand like this with darkness around because you the light. It's trying to get to it, but you know how evil is when it sees the light. It runs from the light and hide back in the shadows from whence it comes. When we doing wrong, ain't we hiding in them shadows? You don't want the light to just cut on, do you?
Say what you do.
Roaches run with the light cut on because they know they ain't supposed to be out like that in public. Stay in the wall. Let's move on. Where you at, bro?
Verse 19 again. Which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast.
What is it?
Sure and steadfast.
When somebody tell you, I'm sure, this person is confident in what he's talking about, ain't he? I'm sure about that. When you ask your children, are you sure before they move to the next level? Here is him. And steadfast. Go ahead, brother.
And which entereth into that within the veil. Whether the forerunner is for us entered, even Yahshua made an high priest forever.
What he made?
Made an high priest forever.
Do y'all understand this forever? It don't go away. Moses and Aaron knew their priesthood was going away. He told the whole world. He told Israel in Deuteronomy 18, didn't he? Yeah. Told them in 34, all throughout. He's coming. Get ready for him. Go ahead.
Whether the forerunner is for us entered, even Yahshua HaMashiach made an high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
So we see that Christ is after an order that his Father set up. And that order is commandment keeping. It ain't hard, it ain't grievous. It's not to the point if you feel like your arm is like this to keep these scriptures because they are peace and they are life. How are you fussing and kicking against living?
I just can't do this.
Right.
I don't want to live.
Go ahead, boy. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1.
No. Verse 1. For this Melchizedek.
For this who?
Melchizedek. King of Jerusalem.
Right.
Priest of the Most High Yahweh God.
So what is he again?
Priest.
So of who?
The Most High.
Of the Most High. He's his chief priest. He's his Prince of Peace. There was many that came after Christ ordered them because there was going to be an earthly realm. Both of them were supposed to work cohesively together. And nothing, no brass in the middle of it.
That's right.
Just can go, just move freely. But that faith. So as the prophets or you can call them out. John, Ezekiel, whoever, but Christ the chief prophet. Because he broke down all the other prophets. He like, how y'all gonna put them over me and they talking about me? Right. The chief priest. Because Moses and Aaron being high priest comes under the priesthood of Melchizedek from the beginning. So it's still the same order, but there's one that supersedes that order. And because of the canons of Roman Catholicism and the whores that sit upon many waters, make people think when we talk about Yeshua HaMashiach, that we talking about someone from the tribe of Esau, sitting on the throne, weak as water. That's who we talking about, and if we quote it, then we don't have the fire in us. Oh, okay. We are practicing for a kingdom that you don't have to say, lock that door behind you. So you have to practice that, but at the same time, constantly, what most of the doctrines tomorrow are going to teach is that they don't talk about the sword that's girded.
That's right.
Dripping with blood.
Dripping with blood.
Dripping with blood.
No. Read some more.
Verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Jerusalem,
Right.
priest of the Most High Yahweh God,
Right.
who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him.
Now, this Melchizedek was Shem.
That's right.
It's in the book of Jasher, mentioned in 2 Samuel 1:18 and Joshua 10.
Got it right here.
13.
What does it say about
Jasher, book of Jasher, chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 11. And Adonizek, king of Jerusalem, the same was Shem.
the same was who?
Shem went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine.
Now, when you read this in Genesis, it's going to match up exactly. Letter for letter.
Genesis 14.
Go ahead.
And they remained together in the valley of Malach. And Adonizek blessed Abram, and Abram gave him a tenth from all that he had brought from the spoil of his enemy. For Adonizek was a priest before God. And all the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah who were there with their servants approached Abram and begged of him to return them their servants, whom he had made captive, and to take unto himself all the profit. And Abram answered the kings of Sodom, saying, as the Lord liveth, who created heaven and earth, and who redeemed my soul from all affliction, and who delivered me this day from my enemies, and gave them into my hand, I will not take anything belonging to you, that you may not boast tomorrow, saying, Abram became rich from our property.
Y'all see this?
And he said,
Abraham once said, I don't take nothing. This is the work of the Lord I'm doing. It was freely given to me. I'm going to freely give it to you.
That's right.
That's the way it go down. Nobody will be able to say, no, he riding off our coattails.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 15. For the Lord my power, in whom I trust, said unto me, thou shalt lack nothing. For I will bless thee in all the works of thy hands. And now therefore, behold, here is all belonging to you. Take it and go. As the Lord liveth, I will not take from you from a living soul down to a shoe tie or thread.
Y'all think about, he said, oh, a thread. Think about this. Y'all know the threads that y'all pull off that's hanging on the clothes?
Yep.
You pull it off, he said, not even that will I take from you. About the word, trading these little earthly riches, and I'm still going to take the dirt now? No. Go ahead.
It says, verse 16 again, verse 16. And now, therefore, behold, here is all belonging to you. Take it and go, as the Lord liveth. I will not take from you from a living soul down to a shoe tie of thread, excepting the expense of the food of those who went out with me to buy.
Except what?
The food of them who went out with me to buy.
Look, he say, look, when I do this and I take these men out to battle, their heart may not be as fixed as mine, but they with me. But we can't say, be ye filled and ready to fight with an empty stomach. When you get to the battle and the Spirit overpowers you, you don't need anything going into the battle. But he's saying, look, whatever they brought, it costs, you have to eat. Understand these things. You know, to walk around in the Spirit continually in this realm is not permitted. It's only permitted to show Israel and to show you that the Most High is real. In that next realm, where there's no sin abounding, you can walk around like that at will. You cannot eat for 500 days. You cannot eat if you don't never want to eat no more in that kingdom. Because you're on spirit. And you're living off of bread. Heavenly bread. Go ahead, brother.
As also the portions of the men who went with me, Anoah, Astar, and Master, they and their men, as well as those who had remained to watch the battles, they shall take their portion of the spoil.
That's right. Okay, so y'all, we see that this one is talking about this who met Abraham, that was Shem. But Christ also met Abraham. It's mentioned in John 8:56. Abraham talked to him. That's who Abraham was talking to, the chief Melchizedek. That Melchizedek talked about. When he told him Sodom and Gomorrah is through. This day. This day. See, Christ already knew. I don't care who you say. Really, there's none righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah, even Lot.
When you get down to it.
When we get down to it. So you can keep on asking me about 10, 5, 7, 3, 2, 1. The bottom line is there's mercy and grace for Lot.
Right.
For what he's doing, maintaining with all of that wickedness around him. Y'all, there's no place we can run and hide from wickedness now. As long as death is in the world. Until death and hell are thrown into the lake of fire. This problem exists for us.
Say until death do us part.
Right.
Read a little bit more of this. Jump right down, boy. Y'all read all of that. But jump right down to verse 9. And we just going to go down to verse 16.
In the Hebrew?
Yeah. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 9. Skip on down just a bit.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 9. And as I may say so, Levi also, who received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
How was that possible? How was the latter paying tithes to the
in the beginning?
To the beginning.
That's right.
How's he doing that? Go ahead.
Verse 10. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
So right here, who was Abraham's first son? Ishmael. So it wasn't Levi, was it? No. So we going back on this thing. This goes before Mount Sinai.
Yeah, it does.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood.
By whose priesthood?
The Levitical priesthood.
Who were the high priests of that priesthood?
Levites.
Aaron and his sons.
That's right. Let's get it understood. Aaron and his sons were the high priests. There were many Levites. Yeah. But you had to come out of the loins of Aaron.
That's right.
To be high priests. Everybody could be a priest, but we're talking about the chief priest of that order.
Right. The one who did the service.
See, y'all, and in Christ's order, the order of Melchizedek, he's the chief priest.
That's right.
And all of us are the priests after that order.
That's right.
In that order.
In that order.
Father, son, man, woman,
right.
Children. In that order.
That's right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 11, starting there again. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood,
right?
For under it the people received the law. What further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron?
See, you're under the law of Moses and Aaron because you keep putting yourself down. Because you love the flesh, it's the ruler. So every time your flesh is the ruler, you come under the law and penalties of Moses and Aaron, which were given to the fathers for sinners.
Say it one more time.
For sinners. So
Say it
you
one more
come
time.
for sinners because you come under the law. You keep breaking it.
That's right.
So when you break it, you up under it.
That's right.
You're under the penalty of it.
When you break the laws of this land, you come up under. You know why? Because they tell us where you at. He's up under the law.
That's right.
Where the hell's at?
Where it's at?
Usually in the basement. You up under the law for disobedience. So that thrust us back under here, but under the laws of Melchizedek, because your mind is consciously thinking, weighing the odds.
That's why
right and wrong, I choose right. And you start practicing that continuously, and it just becomes second nature to you.
Right.
It's not grievous.
Right. That's why Paul said, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient.
Absolutely.
He was expounding on the law of Melchizedek.
That's right.
He wasn't under the law of the priest anymore. He was saying, I'm under the law to God of a higher consciousness.
Say that again.
So on the road to Damascus.
Say it just a little bit louder.
I'm going to say it again. Okay. Now, he's saying he wasn't under the law to men anymore. He's under the law to God, under Christ, under his blood, being that he is the propitiation for sins.
That's right.
That's why he said I was alive without the law once. Right? But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. Right. You know what I'm saying? So understand what Paul was saying was, and he was like, I thought that perfection came by the Levitical priesthood. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying he couldn't go out and do everything he wanted to do. He was saying that, look, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient.
That's right.
For conscience sake, I'm not going to do it because I know Christ died so that we may have a way to get back to the Father. So I'm not going to do a disservice to his blood.
That's right.
That's what he meant. So when preachers use that to say, well, we can do anything we want to now. All right, well, you know that's wrong. So, go ahead on.
Right.
Now you understand that's wrong.
Go ahead on.
We're not under the law of men. If you please men, you're not going to please the Lord. You don't please God if you're trying to please men.
Absolutely. Can't serve two masters.
Don't qualify another man's research, do y'all?
Go ahead, bro.
Huh?
Hey, preach up.
Verse 12.
Yes, sir.
For the priesthood being changed.
What was it?
For the priesthood being changed.
It's changed, y'all. This is
There
the
it is.
only thing that happened in the laws, but it was already prophesied within the law itself. It's just fulfilling itself.
That's right.
Somebody has to be who Moses was talking about.
That's right.
If you talking about he is the Levitical priesthood, then who is Moses talking about? He said somebody greater than me. And it ain't the Almighty. There's somebody in between us.
You had intercession.
Go ahead, bro.
Right. Verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
One law. We got 613. That's a LAW. Go ahead, bro.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe.
So we're talking about the change in the law that's talked about. Moses said, of thy brother. And he laid out the list where it comes from. Isaiah talked about that brother. Out of a certain tribe. Go ahead, bro.
Of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Yahudah.
Where he sprang out of?
Judah.
So y'all, this is what it's talking about. Old and New Testament. Ain't nothing changed. It's the same yesterday as today. It's in Genesis 49.
That's right.
Go ahead, bro.
Sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Right.
And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there ariseth another priest who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment.
Not after what?
Not after the law of a carnal commandment.
Do you understand the law of a carnal commandment?
That killed Joseph being his father.
Absolutely. Right here. Right. And not only that, but you had to have two to condemn anybody. So they could have got away with a crime. As long as two didn't sin.
Come on with it, boy.
So not after that law that where two had to get you right at the same time and your second witness get up there out of breath. You missed it. We almost had it. But he escaped.
Right.
Not after that law. Go ahead, bro.
But after the power of an endless life.
So y'all,
Joseph didn't have an endless life.
were in any instructions given to Moses, it told you that if you keep these to the letter, you will have endless life and don't believe in the law of who that faith is to come. You can say all you want to say. You can say it ain't our Messiah. Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Yeshua, Yoshua, however you want to say it, Jesus the Christ.
You known as the branch too.
You're going to have to say who it is. Just like y'all, if we teach in the holy days, and we tell people you ought to stop doing that. You shouldn't do Halloween, you shouldn't. But if that's not replaced with something, what they left at?
Right.
Empty.
Because they're going to ask, what am I supposed to be doing? You got to be able to give it to them.
You can't just say it, well, it ain't that. Let's read some more.
Verse 13, verse 17. For he testified.
What did he do?
He testified.
What is a testifying? A testifying, it don't come into force until the tester of it has tasted the test. Look, we do false testifying.
There you go. Right
I'll put this on me, man. I tell you, you don't know what you're going to hold. Go ahead, brother.
When he testified.
Hold on a second.
Me and him.
Go ahead.
The difference is like when we look at it in church, when people get up and they give a testimony. What's the difference between a testimony and testifying? A testimony is when they just telling what they believe the Lord did for them, and they just sharing it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a testifying is when there's a sacrifice made. See, a testimony is talking about how good the Most High has been to them. I was down and I was out. But then knock at the door. You know, let me tell y'all about that, and I knew, you know. But a testament, when you are laying down, when you become a sacrifice, you know, when you lay your life down for your brother, you know, when you lay it down like that, that's a testifying because there's blood shed. That's why Christ got a sword that's dripping with blood. Most of it is the righteous blood of the saints. And then because he's showing the nations, this what y'all, I'm not doing nothing behind. Most I said, I repay them to their face. So the blood is dripping, it's showing you this is what vengeance is coming from you.
Somebody got paid.
The destroyer of the Gentiles, this is the reason why.
Since Abel.
Since Abel.
Up to righteous Zachariah.
That's right.
So they don't know what the deal is as soon as they see it. Uh-oh, that's that innocent seed blood on his sword. He's coming forward. He's coming for repay.
Yeah.
Let's get some more of this.
For he testified, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
And any priesthood, y'all, there is sacrifices required. Yep. Any priesthood.
Even in the pagan.
So y'all, we can hold that, y'all. Now we're gonna get into. But hit just verse 24 of that for me.
Verse 24.
Yeah.
But this man, because he continueth forever, had an unchangeable priesthood.
So it ain't gonna be that's your interpretation. It's gonna be just like it was from the beginning, y'all. We have to teach as it was from the beginning. If we start at Mount Sinai, we snatching him back off the cross because you're gonna try to look good on the outer cup.
That's right.
And it ain't gonna get it done. You're gonna be arguing. You didn't have two witnesses. No. You don't understand the order of Melchizedek. The first witness is your conscience.
Yeah.
And the only thing we gonna do is that your conscience gonna bear witness to you. We already got one. Because if you ask the right questions, you'll get the answers. Man, what the book say on this? What we supposed to be doing? From what are your understanding on what we talking about? And let them out. That's what he did with the Pharisees to me all the time. What does Moses say about y'all behavior? Or any behavior like this?
Because that's what you hold yourself to.
Absolutely.
You hold yourself to that compass. If you're non-messianic, this is the problem with them. You are not keeping the order that you are proclaiming that you are be. Right. You are not doing your sacrifices. You do not have a high priest that we take our sin offering to. Blood ain't on your doorpost. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Sheep offerings. You got offerings to sin. You got a whole bunch of stuff you got to do. The unblemished lamb, the actual lamb can't have a spot on it. You got a whole order you got to adhere to.
Say that again.
You got a whole order you got to adhere to. And so if you're only trying to disprove that Yahshua is not real, He told you that the testimony of two witnesses is sure.
What is it?
The
What is
testimony of two witnesses is sure.
So right here,
So Matthew, Mark, Luke, all of them gave an account of what they saw. Why are you trying to attempt to discredit their testimony?
right. And not only that, but what happened to them about keeping that testimony?
Hey,
They went to death.
they got whacked for it.
So, we ain't trying to put a scare tactic on you. But when you sign up for this, this is part of the game. It's like a police officer. But their job is so stressful, you don't think that was on the application?
Sign up for that.
They join the army.
This is on the application, ain't it? Is Christ hid anything for it? Has there been small print anywhere that we needed a magnifying glass to see? Oh, I didn't see Christ saying that right there. We need to go to the Better Business Bureau on Christ on this one. We didn't. No, it's right there in big bold letters. Constantly in every chapter of the Bible. Fear me and keep my commandments. Right. You finished with that, bro?
Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 5. Y'all, we are getting in. What we did was establish who the high priest was after the Lord. Sorry about that, Big J. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 3:15, I'm sorry, that says, witness to that, says that which has been is now, and that which is now has already been, and God requires that which is past.
Absolutely. What is that?
Ecclesiastes 3:15.
Is that right? Y'all looking at my screen?
Yes, it's taking order.
Hey, look, I'm up about 45 on this hunting and pecking. Ecclesiastes, where we going?
3:15. Get you
Matthew 5, we're going to, y'all. Very important. We got the priest. Just like the priest was identified when the Most High came to Moses, came to him in the bush. You know, told him this is what you're going to do. 7 and 3. Here again for them to say, the Most High, remember his words are in Exodus 7 and 3, I'm going to make you a god to Pharaoh. So why you keep having a problem with Christ, saying he's a part of the Godhead?
And in your very Old Testament, it says a son will be born and will be called God. You got to answer.
Y'all got to answer them. We can't say, well, let's go to the next. Oh, like we'll come back to that.
Right, well, it could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been. Who is it?
2 Chronicles 20 and 20 say, listen to the prophets, right? So why they not listening to them? Jeremiah's a prophet, Isaiah's a prophet,
yes, sir.
Daniel's a prophet, and all of them prophesied of the coming Messiah. Jeremiah 23, our Lord, our righteousness. Capital Lord. Daniel 7, 13 and 14.
He said the same thing.
It's there.
3.
It's there. What is it? Spiritual warfare.
The stone that the builders refused.
Right. Coming in.
That's what it is. People have got a strong hatred for the Lord. Father on high. Because anytime you come in there, even Christ himself said, I'm telling you the truth and you trying to kill me.
Right.
I know you Abraham's seed, but if you was Abraham's seed, you would be doing the work of Abraham.
Is that easy? but look who they go back to. They're going back past Mount Sinai. They're going back to who the covenant was made with.
For Mount Sinai.
For Mount Sinai.
That's right.
This is the engagement. This is who the Most High found. The man that finds and the wife finding a good thing. Abraham was that wife. Let's not get it twisted. This is, if you don't understand it from David and Jonathan, that love surpasses a woman. This love is greater than a woman because this love made woman. Right. If you ain't understanding and you think this is some homosexual talk,
No, you about to give me the water.
no.
Hey, let me wait.
This is the mystery you don't understand about marriage that will be revealed to us. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
Let me, y'all write this down. Jubilees chapter 21. Jubilees chapter 21. Abraham's farewell testimony for Isaac. And now the vibration is the law that's coming to play to Mount Sinai. So most people believe, right? Now this is Abraham telling Isaac something on his deathbed. He say in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Jubilee, Abraham called Isaac his son and commanded him saying, I am old, and I do not know the day of my death, and I am filled with my days. Behold, I am 175 years old.
How old is it?
175 years old.
They're going to say the same thing in Genesis.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And throughout all the days of my life, I have been remembering the Lord, and sought with all my heart to do his will, and walk uprightly in all his ways.
That's right.
I hated idols, and those who serve them I have rejected. And I have offered my heart and spirit so that I might be careful to do the will of the one who created me.
To do what?
The will of the one who created me. Because he is the living God.
What is he?
The living God.
Okay.
And he is holy and faithful. And he is more righteous than all others. And there is no accepting of persons with him or accepting of gifts. Because he is a righteous God.
See, you can't buy off the Messiah.
Right.
You can't buy him off. Satan tried to buy him off, didn't he? When Matthew 4 up on the mount, you don't think that was a payoff? Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
And he is the one who executes judgment.
What does he execute?
Judge.
See, no matter how we get down to it, that's the house of Israel. Judging who? Have we looked in the mirror lately?
And we just read Psalms 110 to say the Lord at the right hand of the Lord going to be doing the judgment. Right. Old Testament again.
Go ahead, bro.
It says, and he is the one who executes judgment and with all who transgress his commandments and despise his covenant. Abraham talking about commandments.
So what is transgression of commandments? Because when you look it up in the Strong's, it says commandment, law.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
And I'll read it again. Judgment with all who transgress his commandments and despise his covenant. And you, my son, keep his commandments and ordinances and judgments, and do not follow pollutions or graven images or molten images.
Y'all see that? Is that clear?
Trip out that. He said 3 different things with ands in it.
That's right.
And is a conjunction word. It means that it's attached to one to the other.
Y'all see this boy?
Statutes.
Was paying attention in English class. Say it again. I'm talking about them conjunctions.
Yes.
You didn't know what it was when you had that class. You know now.
And is a conjunction word. It means you can't have one without the other.
Keep his commandments, right? It say keep his commandments and ordinances. 2 and judgment. 3 and 4. Do not follow pollutions for graven images for molten images. And then in Genesis 26 and 5, same
That's all I'm saying right here. Right? That's all I'm saying.
Genesis 26 and 5.
What it say?
Same thing.
It said, read that Genesis 25 and what?
Genesis 26 and 5, it says, because that Abraham obeyed my voice.
What did
Abraham obeyed my voice.
Understand this, y'all. Obeying the voice of the Lord. You have to understand what that means. A lot of times we may get caught up in who's saying the voice of the Lord. But the Most High tells us, be it and observe whoever quote these scriptures.
That's right.
See, because they're trying to gain, you have to look at that wicked angle, what they're coming from. They may reveal something to you, but because you know the law, that cannot happen the way he's saying it, because it's transgression. But what he's using is, I see that. That's good. I'll remember that next time. That's how they come with this. You have to be it and observe to see the angle of deception they use. Because everybody will walk up and say, hey, brother, keeper of the commandments, and have their hand stuck out. And say, don't be quick to stick your hand out. Here's some more. Hey, brother, keeper of whose commandments?
Come on, trying to shake your hand.
The honorable. You like, no, we can't shake on that. Go ahead, read some more.
It says, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
See that? Read it again. Read that again in the last.
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
So we hear some more conjunction. Not confusion, but conjunction.
Ask yourself, how is that possible if the law wasn't in the earth till Mount Sinai? Moses descends from Abraham.
Right. And Genesis 39:9, how did Joseph know not to commit adultery?
That's right.
How did he know that that was a sin against God?
How did Noah know what to put on the ark? How you gonna have Leviticus? Oh well, he could look into the future and he saw Moses writing about that.
And y'all write this down too. It's the book of Sirach 44, 19 to 23.
What is that?
More about Abraham. It says, Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High.
44 and what?
Verse 19 to 23.
Go ahead, bro.
Who kept the law of the Most High.
What did he do?
Kept the law of the Most High. And was in covenant with him.
Right.
He established the covenant in his flesh. And when he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise, for Abraham his father's sake, the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob.
What did it rest on?
The head of Jacob.
Okay.
He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him inheritance, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes. Did he part?
Y'all see that? That ain't gonna never change. That ain't going nowhere. That's the blood covenant. That was the sacrifice made and it's sprinkled. It was told Abraham before, y'all to understand what Abraham, his heart was pleasant. It knew, I'm going to die before I see it. My children don't see it. See, but we don't have that understanding today. We don't teach our children for down the line until Christ come back because we don't know today. You see, the Edomites, when they set it up, they're setting it up for 200-300 years down the line. They know they're going to die. They know the average lifespan of them with all their riches. They ain't got past 105 or 10. They ain't got past that, so they saying, the money is going to run out for me because I'm going to die. But what we do is set it up. How long y'all, these same rich ones are benefiting off of what? Slavery money. How long has this been going on?
We call that old money.
Old money.
That's what it is.
They setting it up. We got to set our children up with the old money of the Lord. As I said, 55, 1-8 talk about that bread and wine that can be bought without money. You have to understand this is what Abraham saw. And he courted Abraham for 430 years and then got married at Mount Sinai. So y'all, but we have to learn to court too. We jump in some quick court. This 430 years, getting this just like the church, getting it ready. Spot or wrinkle is being taken out.
Where you going at Matthew 5?
Matthew chapter 5, verse 1. So y'all, we got the high priest. Everywhere we went, and when Mally went to Jubilees talks about in weeks. Everything is talked about in the seventh. When he said in the 7th year of the 7th week, every year is what? Like
It's a 50.
It's a 50-week cycle. So he give us that in Pentecost. 50.
Many Jubilees. Right?
Jubilee. So it ain't going nowhere. It's a good book. Matthew chapter 5 and 1.
Everybody
now we get into the law of Melchizedek. This high priest that all these scriptures on the board that we read about, who they're pertaining to. And this ain't even, this ain't even, I wouldn't even say a 001. How many zeros you have to put up there for it to be somebody? 157 zeros. 157 zeros for it to be somebody else other than Christ. So now we're going to talk about his laws. And you're going to see the same thing he gave to Moses. But we're going to understand it like Abraham understood it. We're going to understand it like Adam was supposed to understand it.
Right.
Or came back to understand it. Because he lived a long life. Let's get it. Matthew 5 and 1.
And seeing the multitudes,
Right.
he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him.
So He's seeing the multitudes, and y'all, we know the multitudes is large numbers. So he got a good spot where everybody could hear him. Y'all, this ain't putting us up nowhere for y'all to look at us anything other than Matthew 23:8 is telling us. Call no man holy father, for we are brethren.
That's right. That's right.
So if you're looking at, because we're up here, we're in a position where we can see the eyes of everybody. You know. And this further lets you know, because people would climb in the trees and look down on Paul or go on top of roof houses, and they were actually looking down. So it ain't no deal that we professing any order out of our priesthood. Right. Our high priest is Christ.
That's right. That's the truth.
Notice he goes on the mountain, just like Moses. Went up on the mountain.
That's right.
Received law and taught law. He about to do the same thing.
Verse 2. And when he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit.
What did he say?
Blessed are the poor in spirit.
See, this is a blessing, y'all, but we have to understand it, not the poor in the flesh. Right. Because you could have made yourself poor in the flesh and you become a beggar. This is totally different from falling on hard time.
In the spirit.
Both of y'all working at a affluent company, it goes under, that's 2 incomes gone. Poverty will set in overnight if you are living what you make. It's going to set in overnight. We're not talking about that. We're talking about opportunities right there, whether it be whatever it is, to keep enough change in your pocket unless someone else has to take care of you. You have to have enough for you to be able just to sustain just that much, or how to get to it. If somebody give you $1 million, it'll be gone in a week. Look how fast income tax is gone. No, man. They know exactly when to give it to you. We're going to start issuing it out right here. As soon as you get through getting caught up on whatever paganism you into.
And Christmas bills.
All of that. We're going to put you right back in the hole. The whole thing is to keep you in the hole. Keep you in the hole. Christ talks about how to get out of that hole. And that's how we have to teach. So it's never to a point that we give or we teach hand out. We teach hand up. You know, to the point of where I help you get up, bro. I got helped up. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to come by every day and stick my hand out. And then get to the point where I have to wake you up while you're down now. You know, hey, you need my hand? Come back about 12. No, work going to be over.
Yeah.
Let's get some more.
Verse 2 again. Blessed are the poor in spirit,
right?
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
So we're going to hold right here. We're going to get the understanding of the law, why this is a blessing. Because where does blessings come from? We read Psalm 1. Hope for what? Obedience. Psalm 1, Joshua 8. When you keep the law, then you shall what? Prosper. What is a blessing but a prosper? Ain't that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. So he's giving the law of Melchizedek now, the prospering law. Blessed are the poor. See, because we'll think our condition, because we are in our condition, we have to be a money chaser, paper chaser. Everything is about that to get me. Maybe I can be in better shape with the world if I get up here. But no, there's 2 different types of poor he is talking about here.
He break it down in Luke 6. Y'all write that down, Luke 6.
We're going to go right there.
20 through 26.
So, Luke 6 is where we're going, and we're going to break down each one of these laws so that it may be understood from the Melchizedek perspective. But we're going to go right into what he gave Moses, because it's the same law. It's just a different priest. They hear us saying that. But because it's law, what comes with law breaking? Judgment. We are not teaching judgment in our doctrine. We don't want that.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Real scary.
Right. We're going to what?
Luke 6, 20 through 26, you say?
Yeah, we're going over the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go back and talk about Sabbath.
No, what I'm going to do is kingdom of heaven. So we're going to get to the poor and understand that. Luke 6 and verse 20, and then we're going to hit Revelation 2 and 9.
Luke 6, 20 through 26.
Yeah, we're going to go to these to explain blessed are the poor, so that we understand what it means by being poor and blessed. You just understand, if you got to have paper in your pocket to feel blessed, you are abandoned of here. Because there's somebody out there trying to get it out of your pocket.
You owe somebody else.
If you work hard, yeah, and you store up, if tomorrow they say the stock market has crashed, guess where that money at? It's gone.
A lot of bankers committed suicide. Another one just committed suicide yesterday.
It's gone like good candy. It's gone.
And like you said about somebody trying to get it out your pocket, in Illinois, there's one cat trying to make a new law that will require millionaires to pay a third of their wealth just to put it in education. So what they saying is you can afford it, but we're gonna make you pay for this because you got it.
Right.
It ain't a law that they're trying to pass that's going to increase taxes on everybody. This guy trying to make just people who are millionaires pay for this one program. So what's going to happen?
7 figures and up.
Yeah, everybody going to move up out of Illinois. Then you're going to hurt the state, you know, more than anything.
Absolutely. Let's get it.
Luke 6, verse 20 through 26.
What it say?
And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
See, and this is not a hypocritical talk because he came out of Nazareth. Y'all understand Nazareth was considered desolate. It was considered Jack City. It was ruthless in Nazareth. They asked, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? So the Most High, when he talks about, I get down in the gutter with it because it's without excuse on that day. You don't think that would be used? Lord didn't have a quarter to hear your word. No, it ain't. He said, I've been there. I've been to those depths. I ain't got nowhere to stay. Go ahead, bro.
21. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled.
Right.
Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh.
You can hold right there because I want to keep it in Matthew and go down. But you see, Luke is repeating the same law of Melchizedek. Is he not? Let's get right to...
Back to Matthew 5?
No, we'll hit Matthew 6:19 because what we're still doing is breaking down blessed are the poor. And then we'll hit Revelation 2 and 9. Let's hit that first, Revelation 2 and 9. We're going to go like it is on the board, those in order, and then we'll hit the next one. So everybody, you can kind of get a head start on where we're going. Yeah, absolutely. So y'all, we always, but for time's sake, because we got a lot of scripture to go through, it's a lot of blessings in here, the law, and they're like the 10, you know, but they're a solid 8, but they may have a few more into them, but they are all of the laws of Melchizedek. And you can combine these same two and to love the Lord with all your heart and soul and your neighbor as yourself. Right. Because your neighbor is a law keeper. If you love him as yourself, you are practicing for the kingdom. Ain't nobody going to be in there loving nobody differently than how they want to be treated. That ain't happening. Go ahead, bro. We're in Revelation. And we always talk about Revelation chapter 1, verse 1 through 3, because they'll teach in the doctrine tomorrow, Sun doctrine, that you should stay out of the book of Revelations. So when you read Revelation chapter 1, verse 1 through 3, Christ said it's a blessing, not a curse, when you understand what's going to happen when I come back. Why would they want you to know what's going to happen when Christ comes back? Who would not teach you that?
Right. They don't want you to be ready for judgment.
Who only taught us that when we was growing up? The person that's trying to get you out of the house from your parents' rules, right? Man, you know your mama don't get off to 5. Now he watching my mama. This ought to be the first problem.
How you know my mama's scared?
How you know my mama's scared? Right. And then you agree with him, yeah, you right. So it's 4:30. And you finna get into a game that takes 40 minutes to play. She coming home at 5. And there you go, listening to that. And we got these problems. Same problems with our God. Listening to the other counsel. Go ahead, bro.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1.
You can they will read that, jump right to 2 and 9 for time's sake, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all read that. And y'all can ask any of them, why is this not taught? And you'll hear the same answer, because I gave that answer. Boy, it's some scorpions in there, man. It's like a monster. Okay. So all the words of grave and cutting and slicing. Hey, raised a red flag yet? Go ahead, bro.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9.
What it say?
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
See, how is that possible? I know your works. I know the pain you're going through, but you are rich because, understand this, there's two ways of being poor. You can do it, or you can be poor made by the haters of this world, but you are rich. You're not poor, you just been stripped, and the Most High is saying, now watch how I take care of you in this state. If you don't learn that, then you ain't gonna never trust me. Until you put in this position to understand it. If the silver spoon is all the way out there, what you crying about? You are going to face what's called the hour of temptation when you join up with this. Christ is coming to test your heart to see if it's lip service.
That's right, too.
That's why I say, I know thy what? Works. No, works of what? Righteousness.
Right.
He ain't talking about you getting up, going down there to the burger joint or whatever else. He's talking about, I know how you to labor for this work. But believe me, you got paper stacked up. Spiritual paper stacked up.
What?
And look, Bernie Madoff can't make off with this money.
No.
Yeah.
Even Paul knew when Paul was talking about he had a crown set up for him. But he knew he was about to die. He's like, look, I finished my course. I finished it, you know what I'm saying? Got a crown waiting on me. That's nothing regular paper or mammon can buy.
Can't buy it. Where you at, bro?
At verse 9 again. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
See, y'all, we got to always look at this spiritual. And when we understand from a spiritual perspective, we got to understand the order and the blessing. It's talking about first the children of Israel that's in synagogues of Satan, teaching that Christ never existed, that he never was born, that we don't know who he is. He's made up by some Roman Catholics in AD, what is it? 372 or something? 320 something? Oh. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
What did he say, do what?
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
Look, how you going to be scared to go to the doctor? Understand that. He tells us to go to the doctor. It's in Sirach and everything. Look, there's self-healing methods, but when you done let it get too far, you have to go to somebody that the Most High has put the Spirit on to take care of the God. What is that called? Our spiritual healers back in the apothecaries. Look, but you can't let them hook you on apothecary, so to speak, and then that becomes your God. You depend on that little bottle.
Right.
No, you got to be careful. There has to be a line with everything.
That Roman cat got sick when he had leprosy. He went to the prophet in Israel.
Right.
To be healed.
That's right.
He knew where to go.
The Syrian.
Yeah. And y'all, we can heal most of the things ourselves. All we got to do is quit doing them. You know what's making you sick?
You know that.
Because that's why you don't want to go to the doctor. But just like he said, no, let me die. You know what I'm saying? Now you know your foot ain't supposed to be green. Go to the doctor. Don't call none of us.
You know your foot ain't supposed to be green. You second guessing that fuck.
But you say, let me alone, let me die. No, understand these things. When it get out of correction, get it corrected and get back on board. That's called keeping the law. So when people say you can't keep the law, that's a lie. Because it's in every book throughout the Bible. Keep it. Now you think Christ is just repeating himself for the H-E double hockey stick of it?
Man, say that, but they're going to re-register their car.
We can hold that, brother. Let's get right into Matthew 6 and 19. Y'all, we're going to read these few, Deuteronomy 8:17, then we're going to move on to the next. But y'all, when y'all look up blessings, you're going to see it continuously nonstop. We just have to hit it, give you 2-3 witnesses of it from the spiritual standpoint, the spiritual nature of it before Mount Sinai and after. So that you may understand, we ain't talking about nothing new. We're talking about a heavenly order, not earthly. Earthly is flesh. I tell you, since we were talking about before we go there, I want to hit this Isaiah 55 first. I want to hit that Isaiah 55. Give me that first, and then we go to that. Isaiah 55. You want to go there first, y'all. Then we're going to hit this hit that Matthew 6 and that Deuteronomy. Then we're going to move on to the next one. For time's sake, y'all, because we got to cover a little bit here. And each one covers one. Just like when you read and look at about the 10 Commandments, when they talk about stealing, you have to go into the law to explain what stealing is. You know, there's many ways. When it says thou shalt not kill, there's 100 different ways to kill. But the one top on the list you better not even come close to thinking about is the shedding of innocent blood.
Right.
Which is called murder, which it never leaves you. Every nation probably on this planet, there is no, what do they call it? When the time runs out, no statute of limitations on murder. You can live 39 years as a good citizen somewhere else. But guess what? If you didn't shed innocent blood, they don't care what your lifestyle is now.
That and rape is another one too.
Oh, boy,
7 years.
don't run out, dude. 7 years on that.
Hey, but another word for what he say, blessed are the poor in spirit, is humble in spirit.
That's right.
Those that are humble. Yeah, so we got some scriptures on that too.
And understand humbleness. Okay. Understand humbleness, y'all. That means in adhering to the law, you are willing to let go all my personal, whatever I feel, I'm letting that go. Lord, your way is right. I didn't try my way. I know what my way is. I lied to myself. I'm in denial on most of the stuff I do. You know, if we break down denial, don't even know I am lying.
To yourself.
To yourself.
Don't even know I'm lying.
Right. Let's get it. Where we at? Isaiah 55, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 1.
Right.
Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the water.
See, everybody that's thirsty. Everybody, when you get this word, when you find out the truth of this word and that light clicks on, it's like cool water. When you've been out there, you sweat, that cool water goes down. Everybody that's watching you drinking know it's good for your soul. Because you displaying it, you brung almost. You like, yeah, swallow. Go ahead.
And he that hath no money.
And he that what?
Hath no money.
Hath no money. Go ahead.
Come ye. Buy and eat.
How you gonna buy and eat with no money? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Come. Buy wine and milk without money and without price.
See, not only that, but you get what can sustain you, bread and joy and life, which is wine, which makes the heart what? Merry. But if you can't go overboard with either other, because if you do, gluttony stands at the door for too much bread eat. And drunkenness stands at the door for too much wine, so you have to be careful. But he said you can have that with no money. And you got to know how to understand that. And there's a side that if you don't treat it right, you start taking it for granted. Like the little boy that get everything he wants. It's going to be some problems. Go ahead, read some more. No.
Verse 2. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread?
See, wherefore do you spend money for that's not bread? When you keep talking about but, look, don't be mad at me because the scriptures is coming. I'm just a messenger. If I leave, it's still going to be the same thing on paper, ain't it? Yeah. If somebody else say it to you, it's still the same thing. You can't be mad at me because I'm saying it. And if I'm saying it wrong, guess what? It tells me about if you cheat with it, you're going to get them lashes across your buttocks too. But y'all, it's what it is. Either you with it or you against it. Either you gather it or you scatter it abroad.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
And your labor for that which satisfieth not.
See, your labor for satisfieth not. If you swimming upstream and you still trying to promote Moses and Aaron, you got a problem.
That's a big problem.
If you trying to change the order, 1 Corinthians 11, you're going to have a problem.
Say it again, boy.
If you try to change the order, the heavenly order, there is going to be a problem.
That's right.
For both you and whoever's accepted.
Whoever's
It's going to be problems.
It's going to be a problem.
It's because, and when you say, well, what's the solution to fix it? And they say, well, Dr. Field got a book. Oh, you finna go buy some bread that ain't gonna satisfy? Dr. Field.
Right, the solution is in the
How it gonna
scripture.
sound when they get through reading? No. Y'all know what I'm talking about, what he just did. It ain't gonna satisfy. All of the self-help books ain't gonna satisfy. You know why? Because they point to the true bread.
Right.
Why would you buy that and this bread says it's for free?
Right. They're trying to cash in on his inheritance.
Well,
You finished that up, verse 8?
But hold on, though. What you said, why would you try to buy that bread? And this bread is free.
Right.
And it's literally free.
Right.
And give it away.
Right.
You can find this anywhere for free.
Didn't he say
They
that?
all talk about it, man.
Right.
No matter what
They
book
compare
you go
everything to
it's
it.
supposed to be spiritual. Talmud, Kabbalah, Quran,
Science books.
the Egyptologists spoke the Bible.
That's right.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. We had him a debate not too long ago.
That's right.
Everybody's mentioned in the Bible. That's beautiful how the Lord got it set up. Like you'll deny it, but you'll mention it in the same breath.
That's right. That's right.
Like what? Like you don't gotta work hard to discredit the tooth fairy.
Now hold it. Remember that.
Don't discredit it.
Remember exactly what he's saying right here, because I'm gonna need you to repeat it when we get down to persecute, because it's gonna fulfill that to the left what he just said. So remember what you just said. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. And continue on what you were saying.
The continuation of verse 2.
Come on, Mallory. Did you finish with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good.
See, hearken diligently. This don't mean when you get back around to the Lord. No, diligently means what? You on point. Your grill is guarded. You on point. No matter how wickedly sweet it look, you on point. Go ahead.
And let your soul delight itself in fat.
And let your soul do what?
Delight itself in fat.
See, when your soul delights itself in fatness, it ain't that outer cup. You feel so good on the inside. See, nobody else can know. You can tell them about it. And they can say, I can see joy, but don't nobody know the fatness that's on the inside when that word comes and it's to correct at you.
And what we tell people all the time.
And you accept correction.
What I got, I want you to have.
Hey, that's seeking the wealth of enough. You want them out of that poor state, and you want to see them richly with this word of the Most High. Seeking the wealth of another. If you ain't in it for that, then you hate. Look, this is what it is. When the law is put down, it ain't because you're hated, it's because you love. Let's get some more.
Verse 3. Incline your ear.
Do what?
Incline your ear.
Look, when you hear something go wrong, don't you do this? Yeah. If you think something is going wrong. So would you be more to do this if you hear something that's right? Yep. Well, both ears out there.
Put your marks on.
Go ahead, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
And come unto me.
And do what?
And come unto me. Hear and your soul shall live.
What your soul shall do?
Live.
See, it ain't talking about the flesh here. These prophets were talking about everlasting life. That's why they keep talking about your soul shall live. Yo, don't you know those that are going to pass on, their souls are at rest, waiting on the second coming. They ain't just frolicking around. No. If you wicked, your soul still at rest, waiting for that great day of judgment. From everlasting,
lake of fire.
Right. From damnation to everlasting lake of fire. However it is, wicked to the lake of fire. Straight through, straight path, do not pass go. Go ahead, brother.
And I will make an everlasting covenant with you.
What kind of covenant?
An everlasting covenant.
What are we talking? Melchizedek, or are we talking Aaron? And understand this. When you hear the words everlasting, you're talking Melchizedek. Why we think this just going to be for a time period like they said, oh, it's done and over on the cross? We done with what those prophets were talking about. So what does that mean but lawlessness?
That's exactly what it is.
We want to go back into Egypt.
Chaos.
We want to go back into Egypt.
Back in the bondage.
Go ahead, bro.
Even the sure mercies of David.
Do you see sure mercies of David? Understand the sure mercies of David. You know what a sure mercy is? That David wasn't put to death what he did about Bathsheba.
That's right.
See, that was Melchizedek. Because guess what? Witnesses was there. He sent them to go get her, didn't he?
Yeah.
Go get her for me. Oh, he seen. I ain't that bold.
Right.
She can't deny me. I'm the king.
It went too far already.
Went too far already. Already.
When the thought was conceived.
Already conceived.
Yeah, when it came out that that was Uriah wife.
That was it,
Stand
right?
down.
Right.
But before that.
Amazing that he go on the top of his castle. We were like, who is that?
And see, and taking a day off doing that. See, when he was up there, he was taking a day off because that was the time that the king presented themselves to the wall. They let him know that this is who we represent. Right here is the king. See, our king coming back so he can represent on the day of war who represent us. So David laid low, and then his eyes got into
Wandering.
an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And he idling up there on the roof, confident in Joab and Uriah and out on the fronts. Ain't worried about the Philistine army breaking through. And gazed down there. And saw what he saw, and immediately the devil got into the soul of his consciousness. And he knew not only this, but this is so great because I am the king.
Right.
This what it would be like if Christ, if they could find sin on him. If they show this is him, we in the same position. Right here with David. If you got that, then we stand down with Christ. But they ain't got that. They make it up about it. It sounds like Zeus. Paperwork, please.
Right.
Oh, that's been tampered with by the Romans. Paperwork, please.
Right.
It could be paperwork, please. Let's move some more. Where we at?
Verse 4.
Behold,
I have given him for a witness to the people.
For what?
A witness to the people. A leader.
A what?
A leader. And commander to the people.
See, we're not talking about nobody that's falling behind foolishness. Of bread that don't satisfy. A leader and a commander. See how the man, boy, that conjunction working today. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
See, hit that verse 6 and we cut it off. Go ahead.
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
See, we got to call upon him when he can be found. Once the trumpet blow is cut off, y'all. It's just like the 10 virgins. If you ain't got oil in your lamp, you can't go back to the stove. See, where you think they got that oil from? From right here, Isaiah 55, where they didn't have to spend no money. They had oil in the lamp. Then they holler, give me some of yours. You know what that means? What am I supposed to do now? It's chaotic. I read the word. What am I supposed to do? Man, I ain't got no oil for you. I ain't got no time for that. My focus is on what I need to be doing. Go back to the store and get some oil.
Door shut.
The door shut. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way.
Let who forsake his way?
The wicked. And the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord.
See, the Most High is merciful. He's giving the wicked a chance. Look, forsake your ways. Get rid of all of that tomfoolery. Go ahead, brother.
And he will have mercy upon him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My fault.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring that out while you just read that. That was also on your conscience. See, you know how Christ called it, if you think it, you already did it. That was the Old Testament, though.
That's right.
It was always the conscience.
That's right.
Always was at along that higher level.
Right.
Just want to bring that out while you read it.
That's a good point.
And understand this. This is two different men that this Bible is talking about. When it calls the wicked is one that say, I will not repent. That's a wicked man. That's anybody that's moving with this effeminate vibration in the world. That is wickedness because you are practicing sin. An unrighteous man, no, he ain't supposed to do it, but slip and will say, Lord, I'm sorry. But I'm sorry because I got caught.
Right. I see
that's an unrighteous man.
The point of the difference that you're making, I'm sorry to interrupt, you make me understand something. The difference is when you say that these effeminate ways of this vibration that's going on with homosexuality, male and female,
right?
When you come into that lifestyle is something that you live constantly.
Because you know what? You find yourself, what is all their words? We hate life. Ain't that what they say? We hate life. We hate life. Where you get them words from out of the Bible. We hate that. They're despicable words.
Right. There's a difference between being drunk and a drunk. If you get drunk, that's going to wear off.
Right.
You're going to wake up the next
There's a penalty to pay, right?
That will wear off.
You
this other thing is your every breath that you take is homosexuality.
And your every breath is drink that's who it is. When you open the refrigerator in the morning, if it's a beer that's frosty and you guzzle it and you say, breakfast of champions, this is your command, and leave. Because it starts the day off. You have to understand you're putting those distilled spirits in you and they charge you up.
They start your day
They start your day off.
And they determine the rest of your day.
Absolutely. Let's keep reading, y'all, because we're going to run out of time here, y'all. We got to go through a few of them. Go ahead, bro.
And let him return unto the Lord.
See, let him return unto the Lord. In everything, y'all. The Most High said, I'm giving you a chance. See, you ain't going to have nothing to say. When he says without an excuse, he's giving you mercy now. All of us in here know, all of us, we should, except for these shorties, should be taking a dirt nap now. There's things we dare not tell nobody else. Lord, I'm about to deal with you on this day. Me and you about that, man. Just me and you. Go ahead.
And he will have mercy upon him. And to our God, for he will abundantly pardon.
He gonna do what?
Abundantly pardon.
If you turn away. But if you teach the law is broken or is no longer exists, is nailed to a cross, what you gonna turn back to? But your old self. Because that's all you doing is turning back to your old self with no law. Let's get right to it, y'all. Deuteronomy 8:17. Y'all, we're going to roll through these and get right through them, y'all, because we got a few of them. We're just going to hit a few scriptures. I'm going to put them up. We ain't going to get to go through all of them. But I'm going to put them up so that for every one of them, y'all, we're going to go through each law and understand it for time's sake. I'm going to write most of them down. We may hit one or two of them unless somebody wants to chime in and iron sharpened iron. We may have to hit this one, you know what I'm saying? We'll do that, but y'all, we have to get through them and everybody study the ones that's out there that we don't get to cover today because we need to talk about the continuation of the Feast of Purim and the Passover.
Hey, y'all, the back up to Isaiah 55, sure mercies of David, Acts 13, 28 to 38. Go to how that was a prophecy.
What was it?
Acts 13. 28 to 38.
We're going to back up to 22 to 38. Because that's, we also talk about, David Hart like Christ. 28 through
22,
38. Okay.
Sure mercy to David.
That's right. Y'all know we talking about sure mercy. A sure mercy is when you know I should have been dead for that transgression. I should be dead. Ain't no way, man. How you gonna talk about, man, that was cause I did that good thing? I should be dead. That was a sure mercy for me. Wow. Let's get it. Where we at?
Where we going?
We're going to Deuteronomy 8:17.
Is it down there? Right?
Well, it should be every good. Okay.
The book of Deuteronomy, the Torah, chapter 8, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Deuteronomy 8:17. And thou say in thine heart,
right?
My power,
right,
and the might of mine hand have gotten me this wealth. For thou shalt remember the Lord thy God. For it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
Who gives you that power? See, it's he that gives you that power. That's why this ties in with Revelation 2 and 9. It's he that gives you that power. You ain't going to get it from a self-help book.
No. Like you talking
because you giving them wealth. Who getting rich off them books?
Them. Oh, boyfriend go to jail too.
So yeah, right. For this self-help book.
10 years.
Hustling the flop. 10 years and $37 million fine. They snatching it all back.
The weight loss.
Kevin Trudeau.
Things the government don't want you to know. That book.
And then y'all write down Daniel the 4th chapter. Nebuchadnezzar thought he got rich by himself.
That's right.
And the Lord told him, like, look, you're gonna know it's the Lord that rules in the kingdoms of men. He'll set up over the kingdoms the base of the lowest of men.
The base man. Y'all know what the base is? It's like the basement. It's the lowest of men. He said, I'll set that up over this nation.
He gave him the mind of a beast, and he was living in the field for 7 years. Eating grasshoppers and grass. And the Lord restored him. Once he understood, it's the Lord that set me up.
That's right.
It's not by my own power. All right, Deuteronomy 8:17 and 18. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God.
Who should we remember?
The Lord thy God.
See, the Most High gave us fringes to wear to remember him. If your mind wanders a lot,
Holy Spirit,
look. I mean, we keep a notepad and remember on your iPhone, don't you? Put your fringes on up underneath and peek every now and then. But don't boast them, just be humble and peek every now and then. Every time you see something walk in front of you that your eyes ought not pop out of your head, peek at it, and they'll go back in. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Niggas, you got an argument online today. You know what I'm saying? Amongst those that wear fringes and then tassels.
Right.
So like, what is it? You supposed to wear this and you supposed to wear that. And you look up and it be arguing over trivial matters.
Right.
What are we supposed to be doing?
That's right.
What did the Lord give us to remember anyway? Let's talk about the law of Melchizedek.
That's right.
What was given to you so you can remember?
The
Holy Spirit.
That's right.
You feel me? Everything you read, and that's what Paul was saying about the Torah or the law. Everything you read is spiritual. They got a spiritual connection to things.
That's right.
So if you're looking at it literal, you deep as a water puddle. You never get it. You ain't gonna get it.
John 14.
You're supposed to get deeper than that. Than just literal. That's what it's supposed to be. What does that mean?
Extrapolate.
That's right. Wisdom. That's what you call it, extrapolate.
Extrapolate.
See, so y'all, when they talking about let the fringes of your heart that Abraham had, that all the brothers had before he was even circumcised.
You see that?
His heart was fringed up. And that's with the Holy Spirit. It's fringed up on the inside. And then when you work, we never saying that don't mean don't work. Rep Israel. But rep Israel humbly.
Right. Not to be seen of men.
You know what I'm saying, bro. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead now.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18. Thou shalt remember the Lord thy God.
Right.
For it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto your fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord your God, and walk after other gods.
And do what?
Walk after other gods. And serve them.
And do what?
Serve them. And worship them. I testify against you this day that ye shall surely perish.
Do y'all understand right now here? This is a test. This is not a testimony. This is a testament, because guess what? Some blood going to be shed. See, the death of the tester going to prove it. When he put that sword to work, it's about the testifying of these words. If you do this, I'm going to have to put you down. I'm going to have to put you down. Your dog bite at you, snap at you 3-4 times, you say, when night falls, I'm going to put you down. And in the trunk of the car, and out the forest car. Let's move on. Where we at?
Verse 20. Deuteronomy 8, verse 20. As the nations which the Lord destroyed before your face.
Behind your face.
Before your face.
On Channel 2 News.
Before your face.
See, he lets you see exactly how he gets down.
That's what David asked him. He said, let me see thy vengeance on thine enemies.
Right. But the only time we ever gonna see that is when he said, stand on my right hand. Let the righteous witness the destruction of the wicked.
When the line's been drawn.
When the line has been drawn, when you standing over there, then you can say, Lord, he was so merciful. Woo, look at what they get. The sure mercies, when you standing over here trembling, and you seeing some practicing what you used to do, but you escaped that, and you over here, and you decided to keep on. That's what I be getting right there. But you can't witness that, and you ain't been put on this side of the rock. Because your judgment ain't came yet for you.
Maybe irrelevant.
You standing in line and you see Hitler. I know he gonna get it. I know damn well he better get it. And you eyeing it out. And the Lord give me, I know he better be getting it.
He better.
No.
He better.
No. You will go on the side of the righteous when you watch the wicked be destroyed.
You should see it, right?
Go ahead, bro.
As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish.
Who's gonna perish?
You perish. Because ye would not be obedient.
Be what?
Obedient.
Look, y'all have to understand this ain't a hurtful word.
To get you in line.
It's just putting everything in check. Everybody in check. Rules for you, rules for you. You give them out. You wash the dishes, you take out the trash, you clean up the room.
Judgments. It's not to be chaos.
Look, you tell the nations this what I say. You tell these nations this what I say. But start with your brethren first. If you disobey that, that's going to be a problem. We didn't write it. If it don't mean nothing to you, it's just ink on paper then. Why you even messing with it? How you even dibbling in and trying to prove it wrong? If it don't mean nothing, go somewhere else.
Zealous and trying to prove it wrong.
Go ahead, bro. You finish that, man.
Because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God.
See, the voice of the Lord. When you hear the Lord's voice, it's going to tell you what's happening.
Thunder.
It's going to tell you. And we're going to get into that very soon about, a lot of people think that Acts and where it talks about Saul right here and seeing here, but no, it's the Bible never contradicts itself. But we get into that at another time. So let's hit right here, where we at?
Deuteronomy.
We're gonna hold that. Did we finish the Deuteronomy?
Yeah.
Okay. We finished that, y'all. So let's move right on to the next one. Matthew 5 again, we at. And we're going through y'all, but y'all see the order of Melchizedek. We'd have been an hour in on the first law. Blessed be the poor, and we ain't hit nowhere near what we're talking about. Nowhere near. And when you're talking about rich with no money, you think these nations don't know that? They know you can't buy 110 yards and run it in less than 9 seconds. There ain't no steroid for that. It's still put on the Israelites. All that's going to do is make him jet faster. We can get a 6. But I don't care what other nation you put their horse muscles on, they are not going to run past Israel in that race.
I read it in 10 seconds.
It's the race of the nations of the world. And you see what's written. Y'all have to understand, y'all, What's the best teaching tool for our people? Because we visual is by example. You have to walk the walk when you talk that talk. An empty wagon makes the most noise. So you can talk all that noise and clanging on bells and all of that, but when you get through, you got to deal with the Most High on Judgment Day, and He's going to know the intentions of your heart, how you got busy with that. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Matthew chapter 5.
Yeah, the very next one.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 4. Blessed are they that mourn.
That they do what?
Blessed are they that mourn.
See, y'all, that's going to happen, y'all. We got to understand what that means. Blessed are they that mourn. You think when somebody mourning, a lot of times it's sickness, you know, and it's pain. But sometimes when you mourn, you have to, for the goodness, for the Most High, blessings to come upon you. Blessings when you mourn, because usually when you mourn and you getting chastised, or something that's happening that's fulfillment of the word. Right. These things gonna happen. Look, death coming. This been happening since the garden. It ain't gonna change until Christ comes back and destroy death. So let's get it going our mind. It ain't. They got pills out there and they keep looking for the pound of youth, but all they doing is jacking you with Botox. Straight face, no wrinkles, but can't smile.
Like a robot.
A mannequin. Trying to find the fountain of youth when they say the keeping of the commandments is the fountain of youth. Where we at?
Verse 4, verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Hold it, let's back up right up to the blessed of the morning. Let's get Genesis chapter 6, y'all. We're just going to hit a couple of them, y'all, and I'm going to put a space between these because this the blessing number 2. Put that 2 there. And then we're going to Matthew 5, and what was that?
That was 4.
Matthew 5, 4.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
And then we're going to get right to the scripture. We're talking about Genesis 6, and we're going to see, y'all, the Most High ain't asking us to do nothing. He mourned because he had to destroy the world. Y'all think about that. Look, if you got to call the popos or your uncles or your big brother on your son, or your sisters, their aunties, because you can't do nothing with it, and you were going through the transitions of how to handle this child before I have to call the popos. But we had to take rebellious children before the priest, didn't we?
Yeah.
A child just was out of control and you couldn't handle them. You turn them over to the priest. That was our juvenile detention. But guess what? Detention. Boy, it was straightened out before the sunset.
Y'all also write down Psalm 55:22 about this morning. Psalm 55:22, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer.
What he should never do?
He shall never suffer, meaning allow. He shall never allow the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days.
Y'all see that? Half their days. And you can say all you want. Well, he was born to die on that day. He was supposed to die on that day. Absolutely. You run out in the ring with a pistol, you are probably going to die that day. You chose that though. The Lord didn't have that in your life. I mean, do you think that was ordained in little Rufus Johnson?
Right.
He's got a pistol, and he's going, this is your life, this is all. No. No, he don't play games like that, because he tells us what makes us live. Yeah, all you're doing is fulfilling scripture. The child that disobeys, what's going to happen? Yes. Now, you know you're running up and down with a pistol, you're breaking the law of God first.
Right. First. What you think gonna happen?
What you think gonna happen? Let's get it.
Genesis 6.
6 and 1 through verse 6, y'all, and then we're gonna move right on and move through. But this is, y'all, what we're talking about is we on mourning. Go ahead.
Genesis 6, verse 1. And it came to pass When men began to multiply on the face of the earth.
Y'all see when they talk about, say, time is going by. Time is going by. So from Adam to up to now, you may think that there was a short span of time.
3 days or something. Right?
3 days or something, but we into 100 years now. Well, no, we well over 600, 700, 800, 900 years. And then it took 120 years to build the ark. So time had passed by. The world was filled up. Go ahead.
That the sons of God, when they multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them.
Right.
That the sons of Yahweh God saw the daughters of men,
right,
that they were fair,
right,
and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Now some will say these were the sons of Adam, were the sons of God.
Right. No.
But no, after this, Adam was never called the son of God in that light because he transgressed. He cannot be considered the son of God anymore because the redemption has been set up at that point.
That's right.
He is the earthly original son of God.
That's true.
But nobody else in the entire Old Testament is called son of God, but son of men, prophets. In the book of Job, I saw the sons of God going back and forth, the angels. So we understand that Adam was the true son of God because he was not born of a woman. Unless you want to call the earth that woman. Let's move on.
Okay.
And also the book of Jasher and Jubilees say that the sons of God were the angels.
Yep.
So we ain't going to get that twisted and try to once again eliminate the spiritual nature that's involved with the order of Melchizedek. There's a realm around us, y'all, that we can't see that's active. I'm talking about, and there's activity going on. It says Lucifer controlling the traffic. There's traffic of evil going around in this world, standing right there, leaning on that post now, waiting to stick his foot out and trip somebody. In that realm that we got to get prepared for with war that a 9 billion leader can't deal with. Let's read some more.
Y'all write down Jubilees chapter 4 to chapter 5. And go to the time period in which brother read in Genesis 6.
Who got a question? Go ahead, man. What you saying?
It was 1,250 years from since Adam.
1,250 years. Go ahead. What you got, Ruben?
Is this the same thing as Enoch?
Yes, sir.
At the beginning?
Yes, sir. Saying the same thing, and it backs it up in the book of Jude right before Revelation when it says, and Enoch, that righteous prophet, and the angels who left their first estate. Their estate was to watch over the children of Israel, watch over Adam's children all the way through. That's their first estate. But they wanted to join in and have the fun that they were not designed for, let's say, so to speak. Go ahead. And y'all, and see, and that's when we talk about leaving estate, that's their order.
That's right.
See, that's what we talk about. You break order. We better be lucky he don't give us what we deserve. Always talking about what we ought to get. Right. If he give us what we deserve, the room will be empty except the baby.
Right.
That man just right. They will never be forgiven.
Never be forgiven, just like Satan. You still got a chance. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Genesis 6, verse 3. Well, I started 2 again.
Okay.
That the sons of Yahweh God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Right.
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Right.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
Right.
For that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Right. Cut down.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Right.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Absolutely.
There were giants in the earth.
And y'all understand that giants come from the mixing of angels from that realm with the women of sons of Adam from this realm. And that creates monstrosity. It's always going to do it. It's going to always, from that perspective, because the thought is evil continually. Right. See, it's a difference in, you know, like we're talking about the unrighteous. You got coaxed in, you got deceived, yeah, and you're trying to correct it. But when it's wicked, it's practice. we are designing like they're doing in the laboratories today with transhumanism. They mean to crossbreed. Yeah. This ain't no accident. This ain't just an itchy feeling I got late at night. This is what we are going to do. We are going to start another race of people on this planet. Go ahead.
I just want to say something I heard yesterday on the radio about that new movie, Noah. And they said that in the movie they portrayed the Nephilim, the fallen angels that we're reading about right now, saying that they portrayed them in that movie as gigantic rock monsters who helped Noah build the ark.
So are we to believe that the whole entire creation of our specific ethnic proclivity came from a white dude?
Right.
That's impossible. In the color spectrum, black is first. Right. So that's the fallacy too. So you got to look at the stuff. They'll present you with the true story, but they won't tell you all the events that happen for real. They'll get you inspired, so you'll be like, oh, that's a part of white supremacy. Not really. We not prejudiced. You know what I'm saying? We're not racially prejudiced. What I'm saying, like, how can we descend from them? Right? It's impossible. It's scientifically impossible.
Impossible.
That's what I'm saying. So with the rock monster thing, I mean, come on, they gonna add that woogie woogie. They gonna put that woogie woogie on there and keep you scared. Rock monsters. White people got power over rock monsters.
Why did you put it that way?
Psychologically, that's how you would take it, because you would develop an inferiority complex. That's right. Individual people, right? That's why they gotta iconoclast the images. That's why they gotta keep you thinking that you the minority when 90% of the population is color.
Right.
Say that again, boy.
I ain't gonna say it no more.
Well, and what you have to do also, but what the movie gonna do, be it and observe.
Yeah,
See if the ark is the measurement. 300 cubits this way, 45 cubits this way. See if they saying that. Take what they give you. If you want to go see, but be able to see the deception. Don't be a movie watcher. Be a commandment keeper. It's two different things. When you're a commandment keeper, then you can watch movies.
That's right. But you discern behind the true meaning behind.
Let's read some more, y'all, because we run out of time.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Right.
And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men.
Right.
And they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old.
Right.
Men of renown.
Right.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
The wickedness, y'all, and when it say of man, see, this is not an unrighteous man. This is wickedness. This is practice sin. That's being ordained. That's being put into the law of these people. Wickedness. Thou can do whatever you want to do. This is being established into the earth. We don't care about what's written in the papers. We ain't dealing with that no more. There's a new sheriff in town, and it's called wickedness.
That's right. History repeats itself. Because right after this, it's going to say it like Christ said, when he returns, it's going to be as in the days of Noah.
See, so he's pointing you to this. And what's going on with transhumanism?
I'm telling you. It's right in your brain.
Right now in the Daily Mail, they got the robot girl, and then they got the actual girl that they make your face from. And they're asking you, you pick out which one is the real one. Yo, this technology, we 15 years behind.
Yeah.
Cartoon porn, they got all types of stuff going on. Straight wicked. But the next element the Lord gonna put on us is not water but fire. But fire,
right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's right, fire. You're gonna be back, you're gonna be cleansed.
It's Richness that fire is burning right now.
Let's get it, y'all.
Fire is tried, gold is tried in the fire. Right. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination.
What are we saying? What is that called?
Imagination.
What is an imagination, y'all? Anybody out there? What is your imagination?
Thoughts of the mind.
What is anybody out there?
Thoughts of the mind.
What?
Thoughts of the mind.
To do what? What is it? What is imagination? Or explaining what are the results of imagination? What does it produce?
When you think what, unrealistic?
No, I'm just saying.
Something in your own heart.
Fantasy.
Right.
Thoughts? Yeah, thoughts.
Fantasy.
Because you created your mind.
Right. And the key word before that is wicked imagination.
That's right.
So you are thinking, how can I break the commandments of the Lord? I need to show him to his face, I mean business, that I've changed places and I'm rolling with Satan now. So my thoughts are against his commandments.
Right.
That's continually wicked. How can I get around this one? Let me start thinking, how can I get around that one?
Yeah.
Well, if I don't see that eternal life, let me get some more Botox in. And you constantly thinking, how can I get around the law of the Most High?
Yeah. Thou shalt not surely die.
Go ahead, bro. Read some more.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart,
where from?
Of his heart,
which is your mind,
of his heart, was only evil continually.
Do y'all understand what that every word Most High tell us, that every breath of our body should be? We should speak in righteousness. Every other word out of their mouth was this about these scriptures. And our Messiah. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
What is grief? What is grief? It's grief, and that's what it is. You like, I can't believe this. But the Most High knew because he set up laws. But he like, at this level, what have I shown man that gets them to this level that they hate me?
Right.
You mad because your baby the one got killed standing by the bus stop? This started with Adam.
Right. Just stop it.
You are already told about this.
Right.
The good thing for you to understand from a spiritual concept, if they have not reached the age of accountability, which is puberty, they're already in the kingdom. You got to wrap your mind around that because you were praying to him for the baby anyway, wasn't you? Yeah. Lord, please, I want to get pregnant and have a healthy baby and talk to everybody. As long as it's healthy, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. Long as it's healthy, who do you trust in for that to happen? So if he say, I need him early in the game, it may be trouble down the line that the Most High see for this child, just like the child that David had with Bathsheba. That was going to be trouble down the line. The bastard king's son.
Talking about him like you're talking about.
Whispering at the family reunions, all of it. You know, your real daddy was supposed to be Uriah. The Hittites.
Yeah, the Hittites.
We see what happened in Judges 11, don't we? With the other boy, Judges 11. Your mom's Jephthah. So we know our people, y'all. Let's not be fooled about who we are as a people.
That's right.
Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy
what
man.
What is he going to do?
I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace.
What did he find?
Found grace.
I thought this just showed up in Romans.
Come on, boy. I'm desperate to say it, boy.
It's Romans 6. Grace been around.
Grace
just like the law been around because he put on the ark clean and unclean.
That's right.
Where did he get that law from?
Who told it to him? He went back in his time machine. Went to Mount Sinai. And then went back and decided that he knew. Yeah.
Let's get it, boy. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I created from all the face. Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
We can hold right there. Y'all read the rest of it. You see, so grace is already there. What you got, brother?
Yeah, so Genesis 6 and 5 through 7 corresponds with Genesis 8 and 21.
What 8 and 21 say?
The Lord spare a true Savior. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. But a man remains from many parts of evil. From his youth, evil by again might
So he was talking about, when you back that up, he's talking about by flood water. He said, it ain't going to be by that way no more. I'm not going to destroy it. And that's where the rainbow come in the cloud. He said, I'm going to put my bow up. So every time you see a major thunderstorm, I don't care how powerful it is, that rainbow is going to come out.
Right, you got to read 6 all the way to the end.
Right. So you see that was the bow put in the clouds. Also in the book of Sirach, chapter 44, Ezekiel 1:27, the rainbow. But guess who's taking the rainbow? Those who are not adhered to the Lord. And they put it in their back pocket and they wear it in their secret places to show you how they mock God. They want you to know this how we feel about your God. We start at the throne of your God. What you got, bro?
I got 2 quick verses about that grace also in the Old Testament. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 1 and 2.
What it say?
It says, at the same time, said the Lord, will I be the God of all the families of Israel.
Right.
And they shall be my people.
Right.
Thus says the Lord. The people which were left of the sword found grace.
What they found?
They found grace in the wilderness. Even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest.
What is that in?
That's Jeremiah 31, verse 1 and 2.
So y'all see right here, grace ain't no new thing.
Right.
Because it's an old thing. It's the order of Melchizedek.
Showing grace. Always. Mercy.
Let's get right to the next one, y'all. So y'all see right here in Mourning, Genesis, let's go to Genesis 50 and 3. We're going to hit a couple quick ones, y'all. Because we got to roll through them right now because we're in the 3 o'clock hour. We are into the 11th hour of the day. I mean 10th hour of the day. I'm sorry, 10th hour of the day. You're like, boy, your math is, what kind of math is that? Addition with subtraction mixed in. Yeah, boy, I'm glad your forehead breaking up. See y'all how his countenance got disfigured at that?
Genesis chapter 50.
Yeah, verse 3.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Everybody there?
Y'all, we're going to roll through these quick, y'all. We're just going to hit them and roll through how they are. We're going to write the rest of them down, but we may not get to all of them. Let's roll, y'all.
Just 3 itself?
Huh?
Just 3?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hit that unless you need to back it up. And we're going to roll with it. We're just talking about mourning, y'all, and understanding mourning. Why would it be a blessing? Look, if the Lord had use of your son, what about the woman with the 7 sons? They never turned down. That was a blessing. Yes, she was going to mourn, but joy was coming. That's right. Go ahead.
I'll read it back. That's my second one, so I'll just lean in there.
Go ahead,
Go ahead. Genesis 50, chapter 50, verse 3.
Start at verse 2.
Verse 2. Start at verse 1.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, brother.
And Joseph fell upon his father's face.
Right.
And wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants,
right,
the physicians,
the who?
The physicians, to embalm his father,
right,
and the physicians embalmed Israel.
See, now we talking about Joseph commanded his physicians. Joseph was made governor now, so he had people doing the work for him. He had been watching Egyptology, but he had been amongst them, but they respected him for the Most High. He was called the interpreter of dreams as well.
Yes, he was.
And since he had command, because you in this kingdom, that's the order of that kingdom, embalming before burial. You know, the Most High say everything gonna return back, whether he embalmed or just stuck him in the dirt.
Which also,
there's nothing in these scriptures, I'll cut you off, about how to prepare the body for the resurrection. The body prepared for you to look at it. Like today, we'll have some that'll try to have, the one people we know try to have some priest from Atlanta come up here and anoint the dead body today. The funeral director say, you got to this evening with this before we have to shut it off, because today, all of the things in the body today, because it's full of sin and impurity, that body will explode in a casket. That's why when you had them, it wasn't no viewing, everybody walking by Abraham and look. Your viewing was on their deathbed. That was it. And then they put you in the box and put you in the ground or in the throne. That day. That day.
For the sun set.
So he was, going with this custom over here, but the bottom line, in his heart, he knew no matter how he burned up, if he get blowed up in Iraq by a roadside bomb, when is he going to be put back together?
Resurrection.
Right. So we understand that, but if you take the natural order up for us is to bury. But if it ain't no money, and the state say, look, we got a hole over there in Kinlock we can put him in for free. Mm-hmm. Or we can do this, but that's going to cost $3,000. Mm-hmm. Or you may have to consider the fire. Mm-hmm. And these are the things that we have to be prepared for before that day comes. Mm-hmm. That if you want it to be this way, this is how you want it to end, and you have to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. Y'all see here?
Abraham bought the tomb for him and his wife earlier. Right there.
What was Joseph's father name, y'all?
Jacob.
Right.
Absolutely.
So y'all see what he say right here, right? This is what the Lord changed his name to. Israel. And he calls him that. Israel right here.
Right.
It says that to Jacob. He said,
but it was no defiling of his body by him doing that, because that ain't Jacob no more. That's that old shell. The spirit of Jacob and the soul of Jacob is resting, waiting for that uncorruptible flesh to attach itself to it. And it ain't made in a factory.
Right.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And this also confirms that Joseph was in Egypt because the custom of embalming come out of Egypt.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So when they talk about giving hotel, that's Joseph.
Right.
Most people don't know that. You got to go look and search. And why they couldn't find, and why they still trying to find Imhotep's bones, is because Joseph said they never been taking the fire.
That's right. That's right.
So now when the Egyptologists come with Hotep, you just tell them you yelling out Joseph.
That's all you holler. Joseph. That's all you holler.
That's it.
Let's get it.
Let's go for it. Verse 3. And 40 days were fulfilled for him.
What? How many days?
40 days.
See, that was a period of mourning. 40, 30 days, or the time how quickly man could get over it. For David, it was however long that child was sick that we're going to hit next. Read some more.
Were fulfilled for him. For so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed, and the Egyptians mourn for him 70 days.
See, these are the Egyptians mourning 70 days. But right here, where we say in 40 days were fulfilled of him, because these numbers have a place we ain't going to go into. We ain't going to get into no numerology or whatever. The Most High say, after these many days, you need to start to get yourself together. You're going to have to get yourself together and understand he ain't coming back. She ain't coming back here to this place. Not the way you remember them. No more. So we have to get that understood. And Joseph understood those things. And the Lord was with him. But just wanted to hit that one and hold that. Let's jump right into the other one we got right there, Genesis 23. No, I'll tell you what. Y'all, make sure y'all read that 23 and 2 for time's sake. Let's hit that 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel 6. 1 Samuel 16, I'm sorry. This is where I want to write with David.
I got it.
Y'all, we're going to move through these last ones pretty rapidly while we got about 28 minutes and look like about 197 seconds.
1 Samuel 16.
Yeah. And this is the Most High when we get back to mourning. Yes, mourning is a blessing for certain reasons. You have to understand, when I mourn, when I realize that while I was hurting and something in my life and I see the outcome of it now, joy has come back to me. So you need them type of things, y'all. We have to cry sometimes. I know we tell little boys, don't cry, don't do this, but we ain't talking about that. When death comes, there is going to be some time sooner or later when you do get by yourself, you're going to get the muffle jobs. You may be trying to hold it in and lips trembling. Muffle jobs. All you can do is just rub shoulders at that point. There ain't no words for this. He has to get that out so that he don't be bottled up and die. And then he started thinking death. And then he did hours later. Do you know you can will yourself to death? If you keep on mourning the dead, this is all your whole life going to be. No eating, just Lord have mercy. You questioning the Lord. It's over. You want to hear about it? Be right on Judgment Day. Let's get it. Where we at?
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 1.
What it say?
And the Lord said unto Samuel,
right?
How long wilt thou mourn for Saul?
But he asked him, and he asked the prophet this, and the prophet knew everything that Saul had did. He knew he had tripped with the Lord. But Saul, what is Saul? But they was cool. He was Saul's prophet. Like Barak got an advisor. We had prophets as for our kings as their advisors. They told them the moral thing of the Most High to do in anything. When Samuel came to Saul, he told him, the Lord said, you got to take down everybody. Even your partner Amalek or whoever he was, he got to go too. Man, come on, man. The Lord don't mean that. That's my boy. Man, look, your boy old from old time. This tied up with his lineage through Abraham. This something you got to get your feelings out of it. You got to put him down. Put him down for the Lord. And he refused to do it. He don't mean that. He don't mean that. Let's get it.
Read this real quick. Isaiah 57:1.
What it say?
The righteous perish.
Well, who perished?
The righteous perish. And no man laid the aught. And merciful men are taken away.
Right.
None consider that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come.
See, so we have to understand that too. That's why your mourning have to be for a certain time. Sometimes children, parents, whoever else, your favorite cousin is taken away for sometimes by the Lord. When you get into the book of Jubilees and Jasher, you see that Noah asked about all the other people that were still left alive before the wrath. And he said, it's a bunch of righteous people. And he said, look, I got a day already appointed for them to get them out of here. They're going to take the dirt down before all of it starts. They got to go. That you will go to Most High, and He's going to put on you more than you can stand. He will create an event for you to go. But when we know, when we have in the back of our mind, I was born to die in the flesh, but not in the spirit. So once you keep that in your mind, unless Christ come back, guess what? Off the lane, going to be getting some memos. Giving out some. Let's read some more. Where we at?
16:1 again.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul? Seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel.
See, he like, what you keep crying about? It's done. It's over. It's like your mama dried up. Dry it up before I give you something to cry about. This is what he's telling Samuel, dry it up. It's a done deal. We ain't talking about this no more. Go ahead.
Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite.
The Bethlehemite.
The Bethlehemite. For I have provided me a king among his sons.
So he's telling him this thing ain't gonna never stop. It ain't no one monkey show. Well, I should say one monkey don't stop no show unless it's a one monkey show. This ain't no one monkey show. I got somebody to replace Saul. Somebody I'm already looking at, Jesse, already to look at what he's able to produce in his loins. Like Abraham, when we talked about Melchizedek at the beginning, when Levi was in his loins. I already know about that. Who I got set up. Cut it out. Dry your tears. Come on now. Pull your britches up.
Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, Take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord.
Now see, this wasn't even, Saul wasn't even dead yet. This is the Lord said, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm not going to repent. That's why I say I'm not going to turn back. He's a dead man. He's dead man walking. And he's weeping because he knows it's coming. It's like you know your loved one on death row. He's a dead man. Ain't no need us talking about him. Unless the governor pardon, what is he? What they say when you walking down the hall? Dead man walking. If you accept any other God but Christ, the Father, through Christ, you're a dead man walking. You're already dead. So this is what he's telling Samuel. You mourning and you crying about this. Let's dry it up now. Because he's going to die. It's the same way you can spend $1 million You can do all of this, you can pray, but when they tell you there's no more life in him, it's time to make some decisions about how we're going to deal with mourning. Let's move on. Here, I tell you what, let's get right to, we finish that? You want to finish that?
I can read verse 3.
No, that's just calling David to the sacrifice. But as y'all read some more of that, give me right quick 2 Samuel 11. I'm just going to hit that one. Y'all going to move right through while we got these 15 minutes left. 2 Samuel chapter 11.
Verses what?
Y'all see this, y'all? We ain't got through two laws of the order of Melchizedek, and we already talked. This thing is a study. This ain't no think you can get it and put it on the shelf. It's an add to the rest of my book collection. The life privilege. What are some of the names? Perfect driven life. TV Chase hustling the clock. Cash $4. How to be a sucker. And then you want some Bible.
How to be a sucker at his time.
Right.
What verse do you want?
2 Samuel, chapter 11. Let's start about 27.
27, that's the last one.
Yeah, let's start to back it up. I won't write when the child. Tell you what. Now, I want to get right to when the child died. Oh yeah, right there. Ain't the past. I'm just looking for when the child died.
Chapter 12, verse 19.
Chapter 12, I want. Yeah. Chapter 12, thank you, bro. Okay, but this 27 I wanted was Bathsheba mourning for Uriah about what David did. So put that down as well. But I want to get right to when Nathan gave him verse 11. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 11. I'm going to start that for time and I want to get, and then I'm going to jump right over to verse 21. Verse 20. And we're going to see that David had to end his mourning.
Read at 10. Start at 10.
You want to start at 10? Okay, we start at verse 10, y'all. Let's get it.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10.
What it say?
Now therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house.
Y'all see this? Right here. What David did, it says from what you did right here, not only do you have to deal with Adam's transgression in the garden, now you have to deal with what you did with being a king. And David accepted this. I want y'all to understand why the Most High said David had a heart like this. He put on him a death sentence for all his descendants at this point. Yep. You just kill every child, every grandchild, every great-grandchild. This event that you pulled going to be remembered for every child. You are not going to multiply your way out of this curse. And it's mentioned in Matthew chapter 1, ain't it? When it talks about Solomon.
Yeah.
Whose mother was Bathsheba. Who was what? The wife of Uriah. Most I said, we ain't going to forget about that. I said, all your generation. That's what I mean.
See it, boy, the start of black on black crime, right there. Verse 10.
Swore to never leave your house.
Let's get it.
Now therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house.
Right.
Because thou hast despised me.
What'd he do?
He despised me.
See, the Most High said, David, you looked at me, you kind of turned, you did me like this. At my command. Man. Go ahead.
And has taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite.
Has done what?
Has taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house.
Right.
And I will take thy wives before thine eyes.
How many did he say?
Wives.
David had 8 up to this point.
Yeah.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. You got all you need. You just greedy. Now you white lips it on. Go ahead. You can't get enough at this point. This is when polygamy has gone too far in the eyes of David, the righteous man.
He took another man's wife.
Right.
You got plenty of women, but he said, I take somebody else's wife.
And what was it all for? What was it for though? All he asked was, you happy with that soldier that worked for me? Are you happy?
That was a one-night stand.
Same thing you women in the grocery store. Are you happy? Huh? Are you happy?
Are you happy? You got a man? Yeah. You happy?
You happy. Now what does that mean? Anything but other than dilly-dally. If you tell them, no, I ain't happy, because you know what? I was waiting on you. I believe you gonna buy me a car, pay all these bills, take care of this grocery in here, and watch them disappear. But we can't entertain that women in the grocery store. Because that's all it's about.
You know I'm trying to holler at you.
Go ahead. Let's get it. Where we at?
And I will take thy wives from before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor.
See, and the Most High said right back to your face, I'm not playing games with you, David. I'm going to do this to you. Go ahead.
And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son.
You see what they're saying? It's going to happen.
Today.
Before it says this son is not abolished till the second coming. That's this son. He said in the sight of this son. So for us, Judites descending out of the bloodline of David, gonna have some black on black crime in our family, so to speak, or Israelite on Israelite crime via the tribe of Judah for this transgression. Why do you think we kill like that in Chicago? Go ahead, bro.
Know what you call, he said to your neighbor. You shall lie with your wives in the sight of this son. So,
and see,
to show that neighbor don't just mean somebody living next door.
Right.
Who was it that slept with David's wives and his concubines?
That's right.
Who knows? Fonzo, you know? No. Y'all you know? Who was David's neighbor that slept with his wives and his concubines?
Oh, that was
his son.
Yes.
His son, Absalom, came right on through. The thing that David did, he took David's wife and chopped David's house.
Right.
And had his way with him, his own son.
And think about this. Killed his other half-brother about what that brother did to his sister.
Right. That was like a year.
That didn't have the same mom. Go ahead, let's read on, y'all.
Verse 12. For thou did this in secret.
What did he do it in?
For thou didst it secretly.
Walking on tiptoes with this. No noise.
How you know what is the Lord?
Because you walking on tiptoes. Now you just don't walk like that regularly, do you? But then you high on these. Don't want no sound heard. Even in church, you got one thing up and high on these. Go ahead.
For thou did this in secret.
Right.
Say it wrong again. For thou didst it secretly.
Right.
But I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Right.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord.
What did he say I did?
I have sinned against the Lord.
Instant repentance, no buts. No, she know better than to be out there when I'm on my rooftop. I put that in yesterday. None of that. But I have sinned. I broke the law. I'm guilty. Look, that's just coming clean. You got me.
Right, no excuse.
You got me. Go ahead.
And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die.
See, so Saul, when Nathan came to him, he wasn't crying. Look, Samuel was crying, and Saul saw him crying. Saul like, this probably ain't good when Samuel keep crying like this every time he see me. He just break out in the tears every time he see me. Something ain't right with this. But right here, Nathan came to him, but he said Nathan had already got the word. He gonna repent though. I know him. He just tripped. His heart got over y'all, and this is telling us this is why he can't be the branch. If y'all understand it from that perspective, I don't care who it is. This is the king. He come in here, and you on the front lines for him, laying your life down to him, and then he cut eyes at your woman.
Had you killed.
And got 8 standing right there with him. The wives of David, and he's looking at yours. Because he's the king. Go ahead.
He covered in Uriah's wife.
Okay, yeah, so get right down, skip down to verse 18. Come on, y'all, we're gonna get this, y'all. We're gonna move these next. We got 5 minutes. What you saying? Go ahead. What you saying?
I'm saying he just was harmonizing one of them songs.
You know, I always do that ad lib on top.
Cheating in the next room.
Hey, all of those songs, what you think the blues is? It's mourning songs, ain't it?
Adultery.
Huh?
That's what the blues is. All of adultery.
Johnny Taylor, all of them, it's just an old song right here, y'all. Right here, it's just an old song. No, all of them songs. All of them. Right. Hey, all of them, y'all. It's in every genre of music. It's even in jazz. All you have to do is listen to what's the title of the song. This is called Baby, I Shouldn't Have Touched Y'all. And they say the instruments sound like words. Somebody that's trained for that type of music that love jazz can hear those words. And when you walk by, they like, but it's in that music. And I know that you belong to another food. You can't get away from it. Hey, let's finish this up, y'all. Verse 18.
Verse 18.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it came to pass on the 7th day.
On the what day?
On the 7th day that the child died.
See, 7 days this child was in distress. This is the child, this is actually David's first child by Bathsheba. Solomon was the second son. This was the first child. And the child was suffering tremendously. Ain't no telling what disease that the Most High put on this child, but it's inside of the grace of puberty. And that child will be in the kingdom. Go ahead, read some more.
And the servants of David.
Just before that 8-day circumcision.
Absolutely. Y'all see that? Oh, boy. Hold on.
Yep. Stop and think about it.
Think about it.
Right on point.
8 days the child is circumcised for one. That's when the blood cute out. You know what I'm talking about. So it was for that reason. That means they clot and they won't bleed to death when you circumcise. So 8 days, Christ was according to the law 8 days, but he was not going to be circumcised into the covenant, being that child of this bad decision. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead.
See, they monitoring the child. David in the other room. Go ahead.
For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
So David gonna answer his own self according to why they couldn't talk to him while the child was alive. They like, look, if we tell him the child dead, he already don't want to hear nothing right now. He may get busy with one of us. Go ahead.
But when David saw that his servants whispered,
what they doing?
They whispered.
Whisper. Go ahead.
David perceived that the child was dead.
See, he already knew he like that child dead. Now there's even more contrite spirit on David. Right. Go ahead.
Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead.
See, David was straightforward. No beating around the bush. When I did something, I came clean immediately. When I'm putting down the law of the Lord, there's zero compromise with anything with Goliath. Y'all saw that when I was a baby. Y'all gonna sit here and watch what he's saying about our God? Y'all know that about me. This ain't nothing new about David. He say, today, I'm taking his head. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, Goliath dies.
Chop his head off.
You better get on back there with them sheep. Nigga, who you think you is? Running on your big prophets.
With that patchy beard.
Right. No, David handled his business. So let's read a little bit more of this, y'all. We're going to get to the next one. Y'all going to close out. We're very short. Go ahead.
20. Then David arose from the earth.
Right.
And washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and worshiped.
See, David got up from the morning. It's a time when you have to understand there's no more that I can do. I'm powerless at this point. I don't care how I holler and tell the Most High. He already told me. He said, look, David, I spared you for a reason. Because it still has to go down what I said in Isaiah. If I take the light from you, this is what's going to happen. So Satan set the whole thing up of Bathsheba, time and her purification. Not saying that she done anything wicked, but it could have been some delay on when she was going out there. But the whole deal was David didn't go out to war when the kings were out there.
He was posing in vain.
And he may never saw. But David could have been, like we said, developing a white liver. And for y'all who don't understand that, just old talk, we can't get enough. And just got to. In that, because you have to guard your loins with truth. His loin garter was removed while he was walking up on the roof.
You got plenty of women. What are you doing?
Right.
David could have had it.
Say it again. You got what?
Plenty of women.
What you doing?
What are you doing? And then even the Lord told David, you could have had anyone you want.
He showed it.
You didn't have to take his stuff.
And understand this, the Most High knew how David's heart was on the law because he asked him, he said, a man had one ewe lamb. And this other man had many. He said, the one with the many took the one. What would you do if that was you, David? Kill him. Exactly. He said, okay, thank you. We have a confession.
That's you. That's you.
And that's a lot of what you hear in a lot of these rappers today. All they rapping about is taking your gal. That's the hottest thing going. I'm taking yours.
Well, when I'm done, here you go. Here you go. And this is in Ezekiel, in Ezekiel 16, also Ezekiel 23. Christ said the same thing. He said, look, y'all go chasing other gods. He said, at least a harlot get paid. He said, you married to me, y'all come back here wet and for free.
That's right. Wet tail.
For free. Let's get some more of this, y'all. Let's catch up, y'all. We gotta get caught up. Go ahead.
Christ also did the same thing to the Pharisees when he asked them about, what would you do? Remember, they basically, they basically said
that's what he always did. Y'all know the law. What would y'all do? How would y'all handle this matter? Kill him. He said, okay, go ahead. Start wrong.
Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat.
See, right now the morning is over. You got to start eating again because eating is life. How do we tell our children sick? They ain't eat, right? When they start eating again after going through the flu, what's that a sign of? It's past. It has passed. So they're eating again. So David is eating. Now we finish reading a little bit more. Go ahead.
You want some more of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
21.
Yeah.
Then said his servants unto him,
right?
What thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was yet alive. While it was alive.
Look, y'all, we have to understand. While it's alive, we can pour our energy into it. We can pour our prayers into it while it's alive. But once it's gone, the only words out of your mouth should be, may the Lord have mercy. You can't convince nobody nothing else. David ain't trying to convince him. Let's see what David say so we can get it clear. Go ahead.
And did his servant say to him, what thing is this thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive. But when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread.
Right, so they confused about that. Because the way we used to be is you show out at the funeral. Because right now you're saying, I need to make up. All of us. It's just natural. Because you're saying, I ran out of time with this person. Always you thinking, I don't care if you go visit them every day. There's something in your mind that the Most High allowed where you're saying, I wish I had him to the baseball game. Boy, he would have loved that. But you can't take him to the game. The game is over until the resurrection.
A real thing this.
Go ahead, bro.
22. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me?
Will he be what?
Will he be gracious to me?
See, he said, maybe he'll forgive me on this one too. Maybe if I pour my heart out. David was in the dirt, y'all. Ain't ate, the same way we do, you cannot eat. See, the Most High with mourning or death, he forces fasting and mourning. He forces that upon you when trouble come in your life and you keep doing things. When bad love, you know, when somebody tell you, little weight, you looking good. Yeah. You ain't on no Jenny Craig, you on that love loss. It was a bad relationship, it didn't broke up. You're dropping pounds. You're fasting, you need to get that out and start fresh again. Because guess what? If you don't, you know what's coming. Trouble, stalking, killing. Let's get it.
Where he said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me that the child may live?
Right.
But now he is dead.
Right.
Wherefore should I fast?
Right.
Can I bring him back again?
What did he ask him?
Can I bring him back again?
Can we bring anybody back from the dead?
No.
Go ahead.
I shall not go to him.
What did he say?
I shall not go to him, but he shall not return to me.
See what he said? I shall go. Okay, go ahead. Read that again.
But now the child is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me.
Look, we have an appointment with death, unless Christ comes back first. David said, look, it's a done deal. The Lord ain't answering on this one. I got to take that one too. And if you want to understand David's powerful weeping concerning this sin, Psalm 51 is his crying out about this sin. He's pouring his heart out about this sin. And it's reminded in Matthew as well. So y'all, we're going to cut the morning, y'all write the rest of them down. We're going to hit this last one, but I'm just going to have to write down all the other ones because it's definitely a 2 or 3 part series. What you got, Madam?
Y'all write down Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4 to 10. About this morning, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4. For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope.
What is there?
There is hope.
See, this backs up what David was saying while he was fasting. Because they were still part of the living. Go ahead.
For a living dog.
A what?
A living dog is better than a dead lion.
Y'all understand what they're saying? A dead lion got to face judgment. He's got to face judgment. Shalom, y'all. All right, bro. That's 9 and 4.
Yeah, 9 and 4.
Okay.
Verse 5. For the living know that they shall die.
Right.
But the dead know not anything.
They what?
The dead know not anything.
Unless you get into resurrection. And it's happened on a couple of occasions, but we don't get into that now, y'all. We're going to hit this last law, y'all, on the meat. And then we're going to close out number 3. But this is 8-part law. In this, after we do 3, y'all, we're just going to read the other few. And then we'll post the scripts and y'all go and check them out for each one of them. And you see that every one of them is coming right out of the law of God. The law of Melchizedek, but it's from a conscious view. This is why the prophet is coming to David. Right. Because if this had been under the order of Aaron, David would have been dead.
He would have been dead.
We know. We got the witnesses. Go ahead. Where we at?
Neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten.
See, somebody could have been, close to you. If somebody say, man, you know that was 2003, Willie gave up. You go, man, that wasn't 2003. Yes, it was. Unless you bring that up, the memory of them is fake. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Also their love,
right,
and their hate,
right,
and their envy,
right,
now perish.
Is what?
Perish.
Right.
Neither have they any more a portion forever. Anything that is done under the sun, go thy way, eat thy bread with joy,
right,
and drink your wine with a merry heart.
See right here it says under this sun. So a new heaven and a new earth is coming with Christ because he's knocking out this sun. So under this sun you ain't coming back again as a repeat offender. Go ahead.
Let y'all know how serious this thing is.
Right.
The Lord gave us called life. Very serious.
When you read Isaiah 66, there's a recreation of heaven and earth because it's been burnt up with fire. Got to start over just like we did in the Garden of Eden. Go ahead, now. You finish that?
Verse 7. Go thy way.
Right.
Eat thy bread with joy.
Right.
And drink your wine with a merry heart.
Right.
For God now accepteth your works.
See how you drink your wine now? With a merry heart. See, but morning had to come, and now when you sip your wine, it ain't because, see, what we give at the drink? We post something out for the homies that's dead. You're wasting good drink. They can't sip. They can't sip. So what we do, y'all, and like Christ, when he said do this for members of me, he said do this, and remember, he said pour nothing out. He said pass it up amongst y'all. Ain't nothing going on the ground.
Drink a toast to the most.
Let thy garments be always white.
Let they be always what?
White. Let thy head lack no one. Live joyfully.
Live what?
Joyfully. With the wife whom thou lovest. All the days of the life of your vanity.
See, the wisdom, one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, is your wife that you should have in your bosom. First, you got to know how to love her before you get your fleshly wife. Because you two gonna become one flesh, but you have to become one spirit. Both of y'all have to know that woman. And you have to understand it from that perspective, because anybody can be one flesh. A Muslim and a Christ believer get together. That's just one flesh, but it's not one spirit. It's going to be battlings of gods, ain't it? Go ahead, man. Where you at?
Which he hath given thee under the sun.
Right.
All the days of thy vanity.
Right.
That is your portion. In this life.
In what life?
This life.
See, why I keep talking about this life and this sun? Because this life and this sun is going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it ain't coming back. According to Isaiah 66. Go ahead, bro. Zechariah 14. Go ahead.
And in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever.
Right.
Whatsoever.
Y'all hearing that?
Whatsoever. Your hand findeth to do.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
With thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge,
right,
nor wisdom.
What?
In the grave.
In the word?
In the grave.
Right.
Whither thou goest.
So ain't no need you talking to the grave. Look, how is it one breath you pointing up here, but the next breath you talking to a head mark?
That's not true.
I mean, who you confusing but yourself? You understand ain't nothing wrong with visiting the tomb, because we see all through here, going past Rachel's tomb, there are markers to prove that these people lived on earth. If you look at that, but you can't go out there talking, there ain't no response. Y'all, we understand mourning, but the Most High said you got to be sure that it don't cross the line with mourning, that you get to the point where you try to bring them back here. And what did you do? Go do what Saul did. Go see his success.
You want to see him preach?
So what would be the point of going to visit the grave?
What are we doing? What?
What's the point?
Of going to visit the grave?
Yeah.
I mean, it's memory.
No point.
It's memory. That's all it is. The script, it constantly mentions grave markers for you to acknowledge. I mean, it's telling you they there this day. So what does that mean? You can go over here and you can see the tomb of Abraham. The tomb, these people live. So if you're going to it for talking or whatever you're doing, but you got to get in your mind, that ain't there. They will come out of there at the second coming. Right. Their soul will be put back into that position at that point, and they'll rise out of there when he call them out. Come out of there. That's when they'll get up. When he say come out of there, because they've been put back there. But ain't nothing in there. If you dig it up, it's dust.
Right. There's a natural body and a spiritual body.
It's dust. So, I mean, I understand, y'all, we don't want to get into the point where we have no mercy. You just have to tell them straightforward. You ain't talking to that like something is going to change, or you going to ask questions. Why are you into that? See, because if you don't keep it in check in your mind, and you cut off the days of mourning, see, there still may be days of mourning. You have to cut it off. When you go out there, lay down your flowers and leaves. If that's how you got to get it out of your system, if you have to get the tremble lips at that point, get it out, and then let the dead bury the dead.
Tremble lips.
Who's got a question?
Yeah, I definitely tell.
Huh?
It's just something I want to ask you.
Go. You want to ask? Because we're going to hit this last one. We're going to close out.
Okay, well, just, I read about with Joseph, his brother sold him into slavery.
Right.
And he fell in the mother.
Talk about his mama.
Yeah.
And see, those are the things we want to talk about, that when the Lord orders what we call resurrection. That happened with him at that point. For a reason. It was for understanding is Rachel weeping. And see, this is what we, like the non-messianics, they'll go to Matthew chapter 2 and they talk about, where in Jeremiah does the prophet talk about Christ coming? Right. See, they're reading up. Right. But in Jeremiah, it talks about Rachel weeping. It's talking about a dead woman crying.
Chapter 23.
So this didn't happen in Babylon. This happened before we went to Egypt. So this is what Christ talking about. There was a slaughtering of the children under 2 years old. Rachel is weeping in her grave again, symbolically. Right. Because this is a future prophecy whenever is. We just talked about Purim last week. Rachel was weeping then because the order from Haman went out. Kill everybody.
It's a figure of speech.
It's a figure of speech.
Like when you say, so-and-so turned into a grave.
Right.
Sometimes things in the scriptures are presented like that.
I'll just say that.
But he'll show, like you say, that where one is resurrected from the dead to pronounce judgment, because that's in Sirach. It says he allowed Samuel to prophesy from the grave, but the witch of Endor saw the spirits of the angels coming to resurrect Samuel up out of the grave. That's what the witch said. I see descending and ascending. God's ascending and descending. So she saw, this ain't what I usually see. Now, I've been hustling you, but this is something different. So he saw that in the like manner what Jacob saw of the angels, in the like manner when Christ resurrected. When they went to the tomb, who was at the tomb? 2 men and what? White apparel. They say he gone. He ain't here no more. We come to handle that business. We set him up. He did. They came to resurrect him from the dead, but he was self-resurrecting. They came to acknowledge it don't change unless Christ come and do it. That was for a specific purpose, can be explained, and it's not what we would call, what's the talking to the dead?
Necromancy.
Necromancy. It's not that. It seems to be that way, but it's not. And you're going to have to understand that, and we had to explain that to the non-messianics. Before you even get into the New Testament talking about fraud, you're going to have to deal with this. So, y'all, we're going to just hit this last one, y'all. We're going to close out. This is the last one on meat, right here. We're just going to holler out. We're just going to hit 2 of them, when we talk about 1 verse. And then we're going to, this part 2, we'll pick this up in the following weeks from hunger and thirst, merciful, pure and hard, peacemaker, and persecutor. This just be chapter 1. Because there's so much, y'all, we just can't do it in a 3-hour time. Let's hit right quick. Meek, Numbers 12 and 3. Well, somebody hit the Matthew 5 when it talks about meek. And then, because that's a blessing again. And then we're just going to hit the scripture. And we'll pick up part 2 of this probably in the next following week. Because what we do a rotation of teachers. Anybody else feel like they prepared to teach, come on up. You know, but have it from north, south, east, and west. Ready to give an answer to every man that may ask. If they hold their hand up, you got to be ready for that question that comes to you and give an answer. Come on up. I got my lesson prepared. So, where we at?
Matthew 5 and 5.
What it say?
Blessed are the meek.
Blessed are who?
The meek.
See, there's a problem with some people thinking because a person is low-key what they say. Oh, he's meek, and they get that mixed up with weak. You know what I'm saying? Because he may not react. But the law say what?
Blessed are the meek.
Right. And death to swift to be what? Angry. They say death coming if you quick to anger. Right. Every time somebody say something, you say what? And you go digging in that drawer for that piece of weaponry.
That old rusty thing.
Let's get it right quick, y'all. We're going to hit these, then we're going to close out, y'all. Numbers 12:3, we're going to hit these one-liners, and y'all read back. They already been telling you, you'll see that it's examining this, y'all. We don't like the one line, but in this case, we're going to get through this one. And y'all read back before the scripture we give and right after, and you'll see that we right in the line of what meekness is and how the Lord blesses the meek. But the Lord don't want you to be meek and be a fool. Understand that. Don't let nobody put their foot on you. I'm supposed to be persecuted, and they just burn their foot on me. No, you can't eat a fool. He don't teach that. Let's get it. Numbers, chapter 12, verse 3.
Numbers 12:3. Now the man Moses was very meek.
What was he?
Very meek.
See, it says he was very meek. When you say somebody is very, they above average, right? Go ahead.
Above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
So this man was meek. What does meek say, man? You got that?
Yeah, meek. Praus, primary word meaning mild, i.e., by implication, humble.
See, mild-mannered man. See, and this is why when the scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 25 and chapter 26 is saying, boy, this is terrible when you got a humble man and a woman like the rap hard. Cussing out. In faith, this is terrible to this type of man because he's meek, he's not quick to anger. So you may go over the line because you know he ain't like that. Give him one of these.
Oh, man.
I dare you to do something. I dare you to a meek man. Psalm 22:26. We have no such custom. Absolutely. So y'all, the script called that the Ahab spirit. You cannot let meekness turn into Ahab. That's what we said. If you want to read about, read the 1 Kings, chapter 2, about Ahab. His spirit. You cannot let meekness move to that. That's weakness. Being a humble man and not quick to wrath, because the only thing is two hands around the throat.
So Jacob was meek. Jacob had meekness toward Esau.
This is the brother that got patience, man. Brother
That's it.
That got patience, you feel me? I ain't quick to anger, pop off at the mouth. If y'all ever seen, what's that? Not good, Goodfellas, not Goodfellas, but the Godfather.
Right.
Yeah, my old boy Sonny, part one, he could, like, as soon as he heard something went wrong, the wind blow wrong, he'll bite his fist, and he'll go off and just go on a rampage.
That's
they
right.
knew that anger would be his death. Right. Once he heard his sister got beat, he hopped in that wheel,
Hopped in it, didn't he?
took everything, pulled up to the toll booth,
Ain't got it.
and that old boy slid right on down on him. They murdered him.
See what you do today. Then get what?
On my mom.
Did who? Said what to I'm on my way. And I'm coming with them weapons I just bought yesterday. I'm coming with a legal. Why do you tell everything I'm coming with? So when you drive through the toll booth, he got his boys right here, he got them right here, and you will never be able to even up that when they get through with lightning car with holes, because you told them I'm on my way.
I already warned you.
I'm coming to kill y'all. Who you think they gonna be waiting around for you to kill them?
You should be here in about 15 more
15 more minutes. Let's get Psalm 22 and 26, y'all. We got these up here, y'all. We're gonna close out, and we'll do part 2 probably in another week or so. Go ahead, y'all. Let's get this. So when we title this, it'll be part 1 of this. Go ahead, bro.
Psalm 22 and verse 26. All right. The meek shall eat and be satisfied.
What shall they do?
They shall be satisfied.
See, when you satisfied, what happened was Moses got beside himself because of these Israelite brothers that always murmured. Ain't nothing ever good enough. He gave you manna bread. You saw what happened in Egypt, and you still complaining about what? Ain't no water out here. And he let what he had been practicing his whole life went out the window with one word out of his mouth. Shall we give you water? And hit that rock. And the Lord said, did you hear that? Did you hear that French? Moses thinks he's still doing that.
He told him to speak to the rock. And him and Aaron go up there and he speak to the rock, and Moses didn't do that. He popped the rock twice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't believe, you ain't gonna see those.
See, and then
you gonna see it, but you ain't gonna
with anger. What he hitting with? Hitting the rock with anger. And was told, like he said, to speak to him. Let the water flow abundantly. And he gonna hit and he angry and then scowling with that stick in his hand, looking at the rest of them. You know they probably jump back. Oh! Right then, what he gonna do but worship as God now. Go ahead, let's finish these right here. We got these three, y'all gonna close out. Go ahead.
The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Lord that seek him. Your heart shall live forever.
See, your heart shall live forever because you are a patient man. Patience is a virtue. Let's get the next one, y'all. These next two right there like they're on the board.
Psalm 37 and 11.
Yeah.
Psalm 25 and 9.
Yeah. Y'all them calls abbreviations. No, boy, ain't no need. I've been hunting and pecking for over 20.
Psalm 25 and 9. The meek will he guide in judgment.
What he gonna do?
The meek will he guide in judgment.
See, the meek gonna guide in judgment before any decisions made. I don't care who it is. If your son come up to you sweating and crying and say, "Little Willie done jumped on me," you ain't quick to grab pistols and get in the car and then try to find out what happened at where Little Willie done at. That got to be what happened before I do this. What happened? No, take out my pump. Take out. What happened for them Negroes to think you a punk? The son of such and such, the Israelite. What happened? What happened? And you get that understanding, and then there's a plan made according to the Most High, like I say, according to judgment. This is what we're going to do.
Well, I robbed them yesterday.
This what, right. Go ahead, where we at? Go ahead, bro, read the next one, y'all.
Verse 10. And the rest of 9. And the meek will he teach his way. All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth.
What are they?
Mercy and truth.
See, so when you ask what happened, it's mercy. When you listen to that jam script, the first shot I aim to miss. If you understand that what he's saying, the first one wasn't meant to kill you, just to get your mind right. The next one gonna be some problems now. The first one, when I aim to miss, that's turning the other cheek. Understand that? Go ahead, brother.
Unto such as keep his covenant.
What they do?
Unto such as keep his covenant.
See, you got to be a covenant keeper to understand the meek judgment that the Lord will have on you. You're going to ask what happened with both sides of it. That's what happened with Susanna, wasn't it? You measure both sides. That's what Solomon measured about the baby, didn't he? Tell me both sides of the story.
Weigh it all up.
Weigh it all up. Go ahead, bro. We got this last one, y'all. We're going to get out of here. That finished that now?
Unto such as keep his covenant and his testimony.
37 and 11, y'all. We're going to close out. Just got to make one announcement, y'all, and we're going to close out.
Psalms 37 and 11.
What it say? Hold on, y'all.
Hold up, bro. Hold up, Jew.
Start at verse 9 on that.
Verse 9.
Yes, sir. 37 and 9. Y'all, we'll pick up part 2 on this on the rest of Matthew 5. You know. And see, we went to this same teaching out there at his auntie's church. He got on, what did he get on? Meat? But didn't say nothing. I mean, all of it was personal experience. Not one script was read about the law of Melchizedek. It was all the commandments of men. Yeah. We may talk about earthly events to put your mind right where it is, but the scripture is leading the way. It's the commander. It's the leader in charge. Go ahead, brother. 37 and where we at? Verse 9. Go ahead.
Psalm 37, verse 9. For evildoers shall be cut off.
Who gonna be cut off?
Evildoers.
Y'all know what evildoers is. Evildoers is imagining evil and then completing. That's an evildoer. It says they're gonna be cut off. Go ahead.
But those that wait upon the Lord.
But those that do what?
That wait upon the Lord.
Here we got some meekness again because you are waiting. You are waiting patiently like Job. All of Job you need to read. Go ahead.
They shall inherit the earth.
What are they going to inherit?
They shall inherit the earth.
See, y'all, so we're talking about great inheritance. Y'all, if y'all in it to be on the cover of Vogue magazine, that's all you want?
That's all you want.
That's all you want. When you off the cover and somebody else on, that's what when Drake found out about that. They took him off, would never put him on there and put Katy Perry or somebody on there. All of the money he has, He wants that thing of being on the cover of a magazine.
A woman's magazine.
See, the only book we should be concerned about in our life is my picture in the book of life with my name on it. Is that magazine. I need to get in that magazine. I need to be in it when he do this, and I'm standing right there. If he keep running fingers down and flipping pages, you know the problem already. It's going to be just like this. Here you are,
turn back a few pages.
over there, or when you see it like this, this is where because he's mocking at your commandments.
Like hair's running up the street right off the page.
And as you get right here and get a page and start right here, he's right here.
Yeah, I know I'm up here.
2 days.
And the angel will grab you as swiftly as the angel grabs the resurrection. And take them to the thing. Same toe tag and back. Toe tag and back. He's gone. Did we finish that? We finish all of that? Go ahead. Finish that 11 up. Down to
The
verse
meek
11.
shall inherit the earth. Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yeah. Thou shalt diligently consider his place.
Right.
And it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth.
What they gonna do?
Inherit the earth. And shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
In abundance of what?
Of peace.
See, you got to have peace. A patient man gonna have peace in his life. You ain't worried about that drama. Don't bring that drama around me. That's not. I can't have no peace with that drama.
Don't bring it around me.
Now I'm asking you nice. Look, even when you, even this, you be like, look, I've been once MF. Ain't gonna be two. You know, but we can't make sure that you do this and show a pistol. No, you got to look, I'm gonna whoop you spiritually, and then if it goes to another point, then I'm gonna be justified in the law.
Got to be.
What you got, bro? We'll close out.
Yeah, so close. I got this real quick precept. It's Sirach chapter
what 51?
Sirach chapter 3, verse 18 through 20.
What you talking about, bro? Say again.
This is Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha chapter 3, verse 18 to 20. It says, "The greater thou art, the more humble thyself.
Right?
And thou shalt find favor before the Lord."
Y'all see what he said? The more you study, the humbler you get. You should see that quick nature teenager you used to be. And understand this word teenager was brought in place of the age of accountability or puberty or Leviticus 15. They call you a teenager. What does that mean? A teenager means that's saying you at the next level. Usually you are a young adult, male or female. But the word for it is you've reached the age of accountability of lawkeeping. But y'all, go ahead and finish that.
Yeah, two more.
I got two announcements, y'all, before we get out of there. Go ahead.
It says, "Many are in high place of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek."
Who are mysteries revealed to?
But mysteries are revealed unto the meek. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly.
See, y'all see what it's saying? The mysteries of the meek are poured out, because look, when you take time to think about a matter, like Peter on the rooftop, when he said, "Peter, rise, kill and eat," he said, "Not so, my Lord." Just that minute of thinking about that. You know, he had to think about that, but what made him take his time is he wasn't denying the Lord what the Lord commanded him. He knew that was law breaking. He saying to himself, "Who's talking to me here? Right. Is this Satan?" Right. Because when I was with, we didn't eat no swine.
That's right.
And I've read Isaiah 66, and ain't gonna be no swine eating.
That's what we're supposed to say.
We ain't gonna be no swine eating then. So who is this telling me this and why? And immediately, the one of another nation knocked on the door, and it was clear to him. Oh, this is what he's talking about. Don't call other nations clean. Verse 28. But y'all, let me tell y'all this right here. The Feast of Tabernacles is coming up. I'm going to put this out here right quick. What's the show?
Hold it down.
I'm going to put this out right here. October the 8th through the 15th. The Feast of Tabernacles fall according to the calendars that we kind of follow. You know, they're already on there. Most of you see. And we always talked about doing the Sukkot booths, or the Feast of Sukkot, and that's where we are out in the wilderness, in your own tent, so to speak, and experience that. Well, Merrimack State Park is right past Six Flags. They have a camping site, 50 for each time, 50 people, and it's going to average out about, if we get 50, it'll average out to about $12 a person. We're trying to do it that Friday and Saturday of, because if we're going to do this, y'all, we have to reserve it by April 1st, because everybody be trying to jump on it. So we can go out there that Friday and Saturday, bring your tent. They got showers. They got 2 or 3 grills that we're going to have to definitely put the fire on, you know, but that's fine, take care of it, you know, and we'll hang out. They got the bathrooms or whatnot, however, every amenity there, you know, that we need. And y'all, we need to jump on this immediately. If we're going to do this, Sister Zipporah, you know, get with her, she going to make the arrangement. If we get everybody, it's 3, like I say, 50 each one. Know if you're going to want to do this. You know, so, and this is something we can keep. Like now what we do, we usually have feast out of the park, which we may still do time permitting, because we still have to close out. But that's what it is. Everybody used to bring their tent out there, but we can get right into the atmosphere and live outside.
That's right.
You know, and I'm understanding this not from a point that we have no covering, or the Most High wants us to see this, y'all. This is why He put these type of things in place for us to see what it lives like, so you understand what blessed is the poor. When you understand what it's like to live outside, you need to get in that. You need that in your DNA. You need that up here in your heart. You need to see that. So my feast day provides for you to look at the world from this perspective, but you in them shoes. You know, yeah, it's symbolic, but you just, if your heart is true, if it's pure like these words, you will understand it. And then when you see somebody that's fell on hard times versus somebody just don't want to give up that stronghold. Right. 2 different things. But that's at Merrimack Park, y'all. So by April the 1st, get with Sister Zipporah on that.
Actually, I need to know about the 29th, next Sabbath.
March 29th?
Yeah, March 29th. If who I want to go. And like you said, there's 3 different tent sections, and each section holds up to 50 people. Right,
and if need be, we got a brother Elisha cousin. Y'all may know him. His name is Mello, his hood name. But his government name is Alfred. So he got one of those 20-seat buses. If we get that, you know, maybe if we can't get enough cars, but we will have them, you know, pay for that and then get us back. You know, if need be. So that, and now on this Passover, y'all, April 14th, I got the tickets. We need to get on this, y'all. We got till that last day, because we have to order the lamb. We got to know how much we buy it. We don't want to overspend. We don't want to underspend. We want to make sure this is a high holy day, y'all. This is one of the highest. If you don't understand Isaiah 53, you will not understand where we're going with this. This is high and holy, y'all. So we got to make sure everybody enjoys.
And tomorrow we're still doing the giveaway that we didn't get a chance to do last week for Purim. So it's going to be on the east side, 25th Street, 25th and State Street tomorrow, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
So we're talking about the Feast of Purim. We're supposed to give gifts to the poor. They made up gift baskets for the poor that they're going to hand out to people walking around, Israelites, unconscious and conscious. You know, those of another nation as well. Because this is the gift that's going out. So when somebody asks, what do y'all do for the community? We do pure, of a pure heart.
What's that?
1 Corinthians 13, the charity of a pure heart. That's what we do. You satisfied?
Ain't no hot dogs coming along.
Right. But y'all Passover, April 14th, that's on a Monday. I got tickets, y'all. We start promptly at 6 in the evening. Promptly, y'all. Ain't gonna no Negro time.
No, wait a minute. You say we start at 6 in the evening.
I mean, the preparation we have from 3 for all those on the setup cleanup list to make it out there by 3, between 3 and 4 o'clock to get it set up. But the first script is going to be on time when this clock strikes 6 in the evening.
Not 6:10.
Not 6:10. Not 6:15. We're going to get started if we have to talk and we get everything straight, but it's going to go down, y'all. So with that, y'all, we're going to close out and we talk about any of that after class. Psalm 51.
This is the psalm that Daniel just announced about when David goes in deep about his mourning for the loss of their firstborn child.
That's it.
So we got it right now.
Psalm 51. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came unto him after he had gone in to Bathsheba. Psalm 51, verse 1. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according to the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee, thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean.
That's right.
Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Yerushalayim. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offerings. Then shall they offer bullocks. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar. Hallelujah! Say it out!
Y'all got a shekel or two, y'all be ready to preach. You feel that little open like that?